after a blast at a firecracker factory in Tamil Nadu. Also coming up next, Shiromani Akali Dal leader Bikram Singh Majitia sent to 14 days of custody following completion of 11 days of remand. More details on these stories when we come right back after a short break.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
After the massive success of Operation Sindoor, which underlined India's dominance in the skies, another story is quietly unfolding within the Indian Air Force. This one will multiply the Indian Air Force's punch and add more firepower to one of its most advanced fighter jets, the Sukhoi 30 MKI, and make it more lethal for our adversaries. The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI, the backbone of our Air Force, is getting a radical makeover. And it is not just an upgrade, it is a transformation. Yes, we are talking about the Super Sukhoi, the massive 70,000 crore rupee upgrade that will make Sukhoi 30 more dominant than it already is. Let's start with the why. The Su-30 MK.
More breaking news coming in. Delhi's Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena has written to Chief Minister Rekha Gupta urging suspension of the end-of-life vehicle ban in Delhi, stating that Delhi isn't ready for such restrictions. That's the big breaking news update. The Delhi ALG has now written to the Chief Minister to suspend the end-of-life vehicle ban. He has emphasized emotional and financial impact on the middle class and has requested a Supreme Court review of the 2018 order of the Delhi government. That's the big breaking news development coming in just days after Environment Minister of Delhi, Manjinder Singh Sirsa, also announced a temporary pause on the policy. Now the Lieutenant Governor has written to the Delhi's Chief Minister urging her to reconsider the ban on end-of-life vehicles in the national capital. Just last week, the Delhi government had initially implemented a policy in which petrol vehicles of 10 years or 12 years of age and diesel vehicles of that age will no longer be given fuel at petrol pumps and be mandatorily scrapped. That policy was temporarily paused, with Environment Minister making an intervention in Delhi, and now the Lieutenant Governor has returned to the Chief Minister of Delhi, Rekha Gupta, to suspend this end-of-life vehicle ban which was initially implemented in 2018 and has also requested a Supreme Court review of this 2018 policy. But the most biggest update coming in, the LG has now entered the conversation on the end-of-life vehicle ban, citing emotional and financial distress of the middle class. I have my colleague Riyanka joining us live on the broadcast with more details on this story. Riyanka, what are the details of this letter that has been now sent by the LG to the Delhi Chief Minister?
Well, Delhi LG Vinay Kumar Saxena has written to Chief Minister Rekha Gupta and he has urged the suspension ban, and he has rather stated that Delhi isn't ready for such restrictions, and he also went ahead and emphasized rather on the emotional and the financial impact that the middle class have been facing. Remember, we also try to understand how this particular ban on fuel to the vehicles that had reached the end of life, criteria, how this affected the middle class. In fact, that is the same thing that the Delhi LG Vinay Saxena is now saying. He is saying that it is an emotional and financial impact on the middle class, and he has requested the review of the Supreme Court order, the 2018. Remember, back in 2018, the Supreme Court had very clearly said that 15 years for petrol vehicles and 10 years for diesel cars. These cars will not ply on roads. And now, after the Delhi government said that they will not be giving in the fuel to these end-of-life vehicles, there was a huge uproar that we had seen from the people who were upset with this move by the government. And soon after that, remember, Delhi Environment Minister Manjinder Sirsa had briefed the media and saying that they are not going to be going forward with this particular rule, and they have sent a letter to the CAQM to decide on the future course of action. And this is another step moving forward by LG Vinay Saxena, who has now urged the Chief Minister of Delhi to somewhere stop this particular ban on fuel that the brunt is being faced by the middle class at the moment.
Thank you very much, Priyanka, for those details. Now, the Lieutenant Governor also hopping into the end of vehicle ban in the national capital of Delhi. Will be closely tracking all the developments in this story. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, Texas, one of the states in the United States, has been battling a huge deluge of flood, which was triggered after a foot of rainfall was received. In just one county, the Kerr County, more than 43 people have lost their lives, including 15 children. Now, a complete state of emergency has been announced in Texas and rescue operations are underway. And here's a report on what exactly happened in Texas.
Central Texas was hit by a storm yesterday, which unleashed nearly a foot of rain. The rainwater caused severe flooding in the area. At least 51 casualties have been reported due to the flooding. 43 deaths have been reported in Kerr County, and several others have been reported in nearby counties. The flooding also hit Camp Mystic, a Christian summer camp situated along Guadalupe River. Currently, 27 girls are missing from the camp. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem have visited the camp site. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has vowed that the authorities will be relentless in rescuing and recovering victims. He stated, "We will find every one of them." Helicopters, boats and drones are being used to look for victims and to rescue people stranded in trees and from camps isolated by washed out roads.
Well, that's all we could pack in for this edition of Live and Breaking, but do not go anywhere. Breaking news continues on the other side of this very short break, because coming up next are more details on 1 dead and 4 injured after a blast at a firecracker factory in Tamil Nadu. Also coming up is Elon Musk saying that he has formed a new political party in the United States called the America Party. Where is the Trump and Musk saga headed? More details coming up right next on Live and Breaking. Do not go anywhere.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi and National Law School Bangalore.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
After the massive success of Operation Sindoor, which underlined India's dominance in the skies, another story is quietly unfolding within the Indian Air Force. This one will multiply the Indian Air Force's punch and add more firepower to one of its most advanced fighter jets, the Sukhoi 30 MKI, and make it more lethal for our adversaries. The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI, the backbone of our Air Force, is getting a radical makeover. And it is not just an upgrade, it is a transformation. Yes, we are talking about the Super Sukhoi, the massive 70,000 crore rupee upgrade that will make Sukhoi 30 more dominant than it is.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready to plug into episode 14 of the Republic Positive Influencer Show with me, Tanvi Sood. It's a show where creators take total charge. Every week, we hand the reins to creators who don't just make content, they spark change. They shift moods, they inspire, they inform, and they do bring stories to life in bold as well as new ways. Before we get to the show today, if you think you've got what it takes to be part of the movement, Head over to www.republicpositiveinfluencer.in, send in your video sample, and you might just be our next creator in the spotlight. We're onboarding fresh talent every single week. Now sit back and let's dive right into it. To get things rolling, we have the popular and the inspirational Captain Yashika Tyagi back with her Shaurya tales. Captain Tyagi has been narrating some exceptional stories from the Kargil War, for which she too was deployed. Today, she sheds light on the remarkable bravery and precision of the Indian Army's artillery regiments during the Kargil War. With captivating narratives and first-hand accounts, Captain Yashika Tyagi brings to life the untold stories of courage, of strategy, and of course, sacrifice that defined India's victory in Kargil. Let's play that out.
कारगिल की बर्फीली चोटियों पे हाई एल्टीट्यूड की ये लड़ाई बहुत मुश्किल हालातों में लड़ी गई। दुश्मन ऊंचाई पर बनी पोस्ट पर मजबूती से बैठा था और हमारे इन्फेंट्री के जवान जैसे जैसे ऊपर बढ़ते, दुश्मन की गोली की बौछार आसानी से उन्हें पीछे धकेल देती। लद्दाख की पहाड़ियां इतनी सीधी हैं कि ये रेशियो ऑलमोस्ट 1:9 था, यानी यदि एक दुश्मन पहाड़ी के टॉप पे है तो नीचे से हमारे 9 सैनिक चलेंगे, तब हो सकता है कि एक सिपाही दुश्मन से लड़ने के लिए ऊपर पहुंचे। शुरुआती दौर में इन्फेंट्री के ऑपरेशंस को सफलता नहीं मिल रही थी और उस समय फैसला लिया गया कि आर्टिलरी गन्स का ज्यादा से ज्यादा इस्तेमाल करना होगा। आर्टिलरी यानी सरल भाषा में कहें तो तोपखाना। इसमें बड़ी बड़ी आर्टिलरी गन्स, हाउविट्जर्स, मॉर्टर्स, मल्टी बैरल रॉकेट लॉन्चर्स, फील्ड गन्स, 105, 160, 120 mm गन्स जैसी बड़ी बड़ी तोपें होती हैं जिनका गोला 30 से 35 किलोमीटर दूर तक मार कर सकता है। आर्टिलरी गन्स के गोले क्रेस्ट क्लियरेंस के एम से दागे जाते हैं, यानी पहाड़ी के ऊपर से गोले बरसाकर दूसरी ओर डिप्लॉयड दुश्मन या दुश्मन की गन्स को बर्बाद कर दिया जाता है। आमतौर पर जब इन्फेंट्री यानी पैदल सेना अटैक के लिए आगे बढ़ती है तो आर्टिलरी की तोपें सपोर्टिंग रोल में दुश्मन की लोकेशंस की ओर गरज उठती हैं, जिससे टारगेट अपना सिर ऊपर ही ना उठा पाए और हमारी इन्फेंट्री बिना नुकसान दुश्मन के बहुत नजदीक तक पहुंच जाए। इसके बाद आर्टिलरी का फायर रुक जाता है और इन्फेंट्री के सैनिक आमने सामने की लड़ाई करते हैं। ऑपरेशन विजय में आर्टिलरी के इस्तेमाल की स्ट्रेटजी में बदलाव किया गया और सपोर्ट फायर की जगह डायरेक्ट फायरिंग रोल में इसका इस्तेमाल किया। डायरेक्ट फायरिंग रोल यानी आर्टिलरी की गन्स को पहाड़ी के सामने स्ट्रेटेजिकली डिप्लॉय करना, उनकी बैरल्स को सही एंगल पर एम कर दुश्मन की पोस्ट पर डायरेक्ट फायर किया जाए। लॉजिस्टिकली यह बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज था। क्यों? पहला, देश के अलग अलग एरिया से ये गन्स और उनका एम्यूनिशंस रिकॉर्ड टाइम में पहले ट्रेन और फिर सड़क के रास्ते कारगिल, द्रास, मशको, बटालिक, तुर्तुक और भी बहुत अन्य जगह पहुंचाया गया। दूसरा, 1998 में न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट के बाद भारत पर कई सैंक्शंस लग गए और इंटरनेशनल मार्केट से हमें एम्यूनिशन मिलना मुश्किल हो गया। इसके बावजूद यह मुश्किल हल हो गई। जब आर्टिलरी गन्स फायर करती हैं तो उनके गोले की ट्रैजेक्टरी से दुश्मन रिवर्स ट्रैजेक्टरी कैलकुलेट कर सकता है कि यह गोला दागने वाली गन कहां डिप्लॉयड है और कुछ मिनटों में ही दुश्मन का गोला हमारी गन पर एग्जैक्ट फायर कर सकता है। यहां बोफोर्स यानी 155 mm हाउविट्जर वाज अ गेम चेंजर। इनकी बैरल 70 से 75 डिग्री तक ऊपर उठ जाती है। इन अ रोल लाइक नेवर बिफोर। पहाड़ी के बेस पर गन को डिप्लॉय कर एलिवेशन रेज किया जाता था और डायरेक्टली दुश्मन की पोस्ट और पहाड़ी के टॉप पर फायर होने लगा। एग्जैक्ट हिट्स, थंडरिंग सक्सेस। पहाड़ी के बेस पर डिप्लॉय होने की वजह से दुश्मन के गोले इन्हें नुकसान नहीं पहुंचा पा रहे थे। और ये गन्स मोबाइल हैं और फायर के बाद इनकी लोकेशंस को आसानी से चेंज भी किया जा सकता था। 13 जून 1999 तोलोलिंग की लड़ाई में आर्टिलरी ने तोलोलिंग के अभेद्य दुर्ग जैसी पहाड़ी के नीचे एक अग्नि रेखा खींच दी। क्या आप इमेजिन करेंगे? 120 गन्स का एक आर्क ऑफ फायर लगाया गया। रॉकेट्स, मॉर्टर्स, हेवी आर्टिलरी शेलिंग भयानक आवाज के साथ दुश्मन पर मौत बनकर बरस रही थी। दुश्मन को सिर उठाने का मौका नहीं मिला और इस अग्निवर्षा के नीचे से इन्फेंट्री के जवान भारत माता की जय और अपनी अपनी यूनिट्स के युद्ध घोष के साथ ऊपर बढ़ रहे थे। पॉइंट 4875 की लड़ाई बहुत यादगार और बहुत भयानक थी। आर्टिलरी के अग्निबाणों से पूरी पहाड़ी काली पड़ गई। पॉइंट 4875 को जीतने में आर्टिलरी के अमर रोल को अमर करते हुए इस पहाड़ी का नाम गन हिल रख दिया गया। कई बार तो ऐसा भी हुआ कि इन्फेंट्री के कंपनी कमांडर्स ने आर्टिलरी गन लोकेशंस को रेडियो सेट पे कहा कि हम दुश्मन के बहुत नजदीक पहुंच गए हैं। फिर भी आप फायर करिए, हम रहें या न रहें, दुश्मन मरना चाहिए। पर आर्टिलरी की फायरिंग का अचूक नमूना प्रोफेशनलिज्म इस पूरी लड़ाई में तब देखने को मिला when there was not even a single blue on blue kill। यानी हमारी फायरिंग से हमारी ही सेना को कोई नुकसान नहीं हुआ और दुश्मन सर भी नहीं उठा सका। ऑफेंसिव रोल और डायरेक्ट फायरिंग रोल में आकर आर्टिलरी ने इस जंग का रुख मोड़ दिया। लड़ाई के बाद आर्टिलरी की 3 रेजिमेंट्स को शाबाशी देते हुए चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ कमेंडेशन कार्ड से सम्मानित किया गया। यह देश सदा इनका ऋणी रहेगा। शौर्य टेल्स में ऐसी ही और रोंगटे खड़े करने वाली कहानियों के साथ हम फिर मिलेंगे। जय हिंद की सेना।
Captain Tyagi is always inspirational, isn't she? Now up next is a newly onboarded positive influencer. We welcome Dr. Anshika Gupta on board the Republic Positive Influencer program. In her first video, Dr. Gupta has addressed the buzzword on the internet, the gut. In this video, she reveals the powerful connection between your gut and your brain and shares a very simple yet very effective recipe to heal your gut and boost your mental wellness. This is how small lifestyle changes can lead to those big goals of being a healthier and happier you.
Anxiety, depression, stress and low mood. What if I told you they don't start here but here? Hi, this is Dr. Anshika Gupta and today we'll explore the most powerful connection in your body, the connection between your gut and your brain. We'll talk about how your gut and your brain together control your mood. We'll talk about what disrupts this wonderful balance. And we'll also talk about some lifestyle interventions that will help you heal this connection. So your gut and your brain are in a constant communication. This is called the gut-brain axis. First, let's understand the wired part of this connection. Your gut has its own nervous system, which is called the enteric nervous system. This is in direct communication with your brain through a nerve called the vagus nerve. Now, this system controls your digestion, it controls the movement of food through your gut, and even the rhythm of your heart. There is, however, also a wireless system in place. Now, this system works through certain chemicals called neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters are made by your gut, but they act on your brain. So, chemicals like serotonin, which is your feel-good hormone, dopamine, which is your reward and motivation chemical, and even GABA, which is your relaxation and sleep chemical. These are all made in your gut, and they act on your brain and stabilize your mood. So basically, your gut and your brain are two best friends and they're constantly texting each other, connected through both wired and wireless connection. Now, when your gut health is poor, when you have growth of bad bacteria in your gut or lack of good bacteria, when you have poor digestion, when you have inflammation in your gut or increased gut permeability, all of that can have a massive impact on your mental health. Because remember that all your happiness, relaxation hormones are made in your gut. And remember, it's a two-way street. So while poor gut health can cause low mood, having low mood or having a lot of anxiety and stress can slow down your digestion, impact your gut health as well. So your gut and your brain are best of buddies. And when your gut is unhappy, your brain is unhappy. The question that comes up is, how do you make them both happy again? Well, the good news is that the ball is in your court. Simple lifestyle changes can give you dramatic results. So you want to start by removing everything that's hampering your gut health and your digestion. So we're talking about sugar, processed foods, alcohol, even unnecessary medications like NSAIDs and antacids. You want to get them out. Second, you want to start focusing on adding the right things. You want to focus on fiber, on good fats like omega-3 fatty acids, on good amount of protein and whole grains. To step it up a notch, you can include fermented foods and targeted probiotic supplements. Contact your healthcare provider for specific strains that show promise with mood issues. Also, things like collagen, glutamine, vitamin D, bone broth, these are a few things that really support the health of your gut lining. And of course, stress management plays a huge role. Daily practices like breathing, meditation, mindfulness, yoga can all help to calm your mind and gut. Healing your gut-brain axis is a journey. It's not a quick fix. It requires you to consistently make good choices with respect to your food and your lifestyle. When you nourish your gut microbiome, you support a calmer, clearer, a more resilient brain. Remember, the journey to better mental health starts from your kitchen.
Now, Dr. Neeru Joshi, thank you so much for putting that together. It's something we all need. Now, on to the next video. The month of Sawan is ahead of us. And so many of you must be getting ready to fast or thinking if you're fasting this year. Now wait, there's a science behind it. And to break it down, the story and the science behind fasting is positive influencer Upasana Dewangan. Let's play out her next video.
क्या आपने कभी सोचा कि सावन में व्रतों की परंपरा केवल धार्मिक ही नहीं बल्कि वैज्ञानिक भी है? चलिए समझते हैं कैसे। सावन 1 महीने का होता है और हिंदू पंचांग के अनुसार आस्था और स्वास्थ्य के लिए ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण महीना होता है। माना जाता है कि इस समय समुद्र मंथन हुआ था और उस समुद्र मंथन में बहुत सी अनमोल वस्तुएं समुद्र से निकली थी, लेकिन साथ ही बहुत ही भयंकर विष हलाहल भी निकला था। अगर ये विष फैल जाता तो पूरी सृष्टि का सर्वनाश हो जाता। इससे डर के ऋषि मुनि, देव और असुर शिव भगवान से मदद की गुहार करने लगे। शिव जी ने जब ये सुना तो उन्होंने हलाहल को अपने कंठ में धारण कर लिया, जिसकी वजह से उनके गले का रंग नीला पड़ गया। इसीलिए उनको नीलकंठ कहा जाता है। विष के प्रभाव से शिव जी का शरीर तपने लगा और उनका तापमान धीरे धीरे बहुत बढ़ने लगा। उनके शरीर में शीतलता लाने के लिए उनको ठंडे गंगा जल, दूध, दही और शहद से स्नान कराया गया। तब से ये परंपरा है कि सावन के महीने में शिवलिंग पर दूध, दही, जल इत्यादि चढ़ाया जाता है। सावन का महीना शिव जी को अत्यंत प्रिय है, इसीलिए हर सोमवार को लोग व्रत रखते हैं। वैसे भी सावन का पूरा महीना त्योहारों से भरा होता है। इस बार सावन में 4 सोमवार, 2 एकादशी, हरियाली तीज, सावन अमावस्या, रक्षाबंधन और नाग पंचमी पड़ेंगे। तो आपके पास बहुत से ऐसे मौके हैं जब व्रत रख के आप अपने आराध्य को खुश कर सकते हैं। और वैसे भी अगर साइंटिफिकली आप इस चीज को सोच कर देखें तो सावन के महीने में लगातार बारिश होती है, तापमान लगातार बदलता रहता है और चारों तरफ नमी बनी होती है, जिसके कारण आपका पाचन तंत्र थोड़ा धीमा पड़ जाता है। तो अगर आप कम खाएं, हल्का खाएं या फिर उपवास रखें तो वह आपके पाचन तंत्र के लिए बहुत अच्छा है। इसीलिए कई लोग सावन के टाइम पर पूरे महीने भर इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग करते हैं, जिसके कारण उनका वेट कंट्रोल होता है और साथ ही एक तरह से बॉडी का डिटॉक्स हो जाता है, सारे टॉक्सिन्स रिलीज हो जाते हैं। तो एक तरह से ये आपके स्वास्थ्य के लिए भी बहुत अच्छा है। तो तैयार हो जाइए, सावन आने वाले हैं, आपके पास पूरा मौका है अपने आराध्य से जुड़ने का और अपने स्वास्थ्य को सुधारने का। मुझे बहुत ही गर्व की अनुभूति होती है ये सोचकर कि मैं एक ऐसे धर्म में पैदा हुई हूं जहां पर हर रीति रिवाज के पीछे कोई न कोई वैज्ञानिक कारण है। आप क्या सोचते हैं इस बारे में, हमें कमेंट्स में जरूर बताइए और ऐसे और वीडियोस के लिए हमारे चैनल को फॉलो कीजिए। हर हर महादेव।
Now that's your advice right from the doctor's mouth. Now to the next video. Staying with lifestyle and our choices, we welcome another new Republic positive influencer, Dr. Neeru Joshi, and she touches upon what she calls nomophobia, and that is the phobia of not having your phone around. Dr. Neeru Joshi is a well-known clinical psychologist, and she sheds light on the growing concern of nomophobia. In this insightful video, she breaks down the psychological triggers, behavioral symptoms, and long-term effects of digital dependency. Here are some practical tips, some expert advice on how to overcome phone addiction, regain mental clarity, and achieve emotional balance. A must-watch for anybody looking to take control of their screen time and digital well-being.
किसी भी देश की सबसे बड़ी धरोहर होती है उस देश के बच्चे, और बच्चे शिकार हो रहे हैं लाइफस्टाइल डिसऑर्डर का। चिड़चिड़ापन, गुस्सा आना, पढ़ाई ना करना, भूख ना लगना, पार्क में खेलने का मन नहीं करना, और इन सब के पीछे जो जिम्मेदार चीज है वो है मोबाइल फोन और उसका एक्सेसिव यूज। और यही वजह है कि WHO ने 2018 में बोला था कि जो बच्चे ऑनलाइन गेमिंग खेलते हैं बहुत ज्यादा, उनको मानसिक स्वास्थ्य विकार हो जाता है। और अपनी एक अपडेट में इंटरनेशनल क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ डिजीज की अपडेट में बोला कि ड्रग्स यानी हेरोइन, कोकीन और गैम्बलिंग से भी ज्यादा खतरनाक एडिक्शन है मोबाइल फोन का एडिक्शन। और ये हम देख भी रहे हैं, नोमोफोबिया बच्चों को होने लगा है, जो अपने आप में भयंकर बीमारी है। नो मोबाइल फोन फोबिया, जब बच्चों को लगता है कि हमसे मोबाइल फोन ले लिया जाएगा। इंसोम्निया, बच्चों को नींद नहीं आती है, रात को उठ के मोबाइल फोन चेक करते हैं, देर देर तक मोबाइल फोन यूज करते हैं, तो उनको सुकून की नींद नहीं आती है, जिसे इंसोम्निया बोलते हैं। और मोबाइल फोन में सबसे ज्यादा इन्फेक्शन होता है, बच्चे वॉशरूम में भी लेके जा रहे हैं, फिर जगह जगह रख रहे हैं, फिर खाते टाइम भी यूज कर रहे हैं, तो इससे इन्फेक्शन भी ऑब्वियस इन्फेक्शन होता है, राइट। और इतनी सारी प्रॉब्लम कि बच्चा वास्तविकता से दूर हो रहा है, ओरिजिनलिटी से दूर होकर इमेजिनेटिव दुनिया में जी रहा है, तो सोशल स्किल भी जीरो हो रहा है। तो वर्चुअल लाइफ चल रही है बच्चे की, हमें अपने बच्चों को इस चीज से बचाना होगा। और यही वजह है कि आज बच्चे के अंदर, क्योंकि अगर हमने ऐसा नहीं किया तो आने वाला समाज आप देख लीजिए, आपको कौन सा समाज मिलने वाला है। हमारी पीढ़ी एंग्सियस, डिप्रेसिव और खुद पसंद होने वाली है। उनके अंदर अब देखिए, वेब सीरीज देख रहे हैं तो एक ही दिन में 12 एपिसोड खत्म कर दिए। ऑनलाइन गेमिंग खेल रहे हैं, लेवल 1 रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट, लेवल 2 खेलना है, लेवल 3 खेलना है, तो क्यूरियोसिटी, खुशी का एहसास, ब्रेन में बनने वाला केमिकल डोपामिन, तो डोपामिन ज्यादा रिलीज हो रहा है, फिर ज्यादा आप वो काम कर रहे हैं, तो इसका मतलब आपको उसका एडिक्शन लगता जा रहा है। तो जिस तरीके से उपवास किया जाता है खाने पीने का, डिजिटल उपवास भी करना पड़ेगा, डोपामिन फास्ट भी करना पड़ेगा, बच्चों को एक टाइम टेबल बना के देना पड़ेगा। टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत जरूरी है, मैं मोबाइल फोन के अगेंस्ट नहीं हूं, मोबाइल फोन के स्मार्ट यूज के नहीं जो करते हैं, मैं उससे परेशान हूं कि 4-4, 5-5 घंटे अगर एंटरटेनमेंट है तो वो नो। इंफॉर्मेशन और कम्युनिकेशन के लिए अगर यूज हो रहा है तो जरूरी है, और आज के टाइम पर इस फास्ट मूविंग वर्ल्ड में जरूरी भी है। लेकिन अगर सिर्फ ऐसे ही आप यूज कर रहे हैं, आप पढ़ाई पे ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं, आप अपनों से दूरी बना रहे हैं, आप सिर्फ एक सोशल मीडिया पे अपनी आईडीज बनाकर आप वो लाइक, कमेंट, शेयर आप इसी में लगे हुए हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं गलत है। तो हमें इन सब चीजों को देखना होगा और बच्चों को इसका मास्टर बनाना है, इसका गुलाम नहीं बनाना है। तो आओ मिलके करते हैं एक स्मार्ट इंडिया की तैयारी और स्मार्ट यूज ऑफ स्मार्टफोन से तो वो सभी को मिलकर करना पड़ेगा। पेरेंट्स की भी जिम्मेदारी है, स्कूल की है, हम सबकी जिम्मेदारी है। टाइम टेबल बनाइए इसका और अपने बच्चों को एक अच्छा इंसान बनने की हम सबको प्रेरणा देनी है।
And to wind down the show today is Roma Abhyankar, who's back on the Positive Influencer show. Have you ever wondered what your emotions are really telling you? The Bhagavad Gita offers profound insights into emotional intelligence, helping you decode the wisdom behind your emotions. Discover the concept of bhava, the language of your emotions, and learn to tap into its power. In our next video, Positive Influencer Roma Abhyankar tells us how to unlock a deeper understanding of yourself and cultivate emotional awareness with the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. Super timely before you hit that Monday.
What if I told you that the emotions you feel are trying to send you a message, and that these emotions can be deciphered, can be decoded? Namaskar. My name is Roma Abhyankar. Today, I'll help you understand what your emotions are actually trying to tell you. The discussion on emotions in the Bhagavad Gita is not because great warriors were heading into combat. Shri Krishna's advice to Arjun was to know when one was being steered by emotions rather than reason. Shri Krishna in the second Adhyay has a beautiful take on viewing emotions in our daily context. He says, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukhadukha daha agama paino nityas taunstitikshasva bharata. What the shloka means is that happiness and distress are like the winter and summer seasons. They appear and disappear, which tells us that nothing is permanent. Emotions arise because of our sensory perception. We learn to tolerate them and stay neutral. Emotions are often said to be energy in motion. And anything that has energy has the capacity to push you, bring about a change. Each feeling is a message, stirring something in you, trying to reach out to you. Let's put Shri Krishna's message in the current context and see what we can learn. For instance, when are you most anxious? When something is yet to happen, when the outcome is in the future. Anxiety peaks when the future is uncertain. It thrives in the space between what is and what might be. The best way to control anxiety is to stay in the present. Showcase awareness towards what you're doing right now, in the moment. Let's look at sadness. Sadness often flows from the past, from moments that didn't unfold as we wished. Though we can't rewrite what's done, we can choose to carry its lessons into the now with greater wisdom and awareness. Fear stems from the perception of loss of safety, of control, of something very dear to you. Avoiding it only gives it power. Facing it with reason and courage and reaching out when you need to helps you reclaim that power. Anger often rises from discomfort. When words, actions, or situations breach your sense of safety or familiarity, you feel rage building up inside you. The key is knowing where your boundary lies. Honor that line, and you'll find your mind regaining control over your reaction. But what about feel-good emotions like joy, happiness, comfort? Positive emotions aren't just pleasant. They are purposeful. They highlight the moments that energize and connect you. Paying attention to them helps you stay present and live with intention. Next time you find yourself embroiled in these emotions, just take a pause, a moment to reflect. Why might you be feeling that way? Remember, the emotions are just energy in motion. How would you react to this energy? Do something you'll regret or make magic out of the energy? It's all in your hands. Dhanyavad.
And that's it from me, Tanvi Sood, on the Positive Influencer Show, episode 14. We had a good mix of new creators and those who have been working with us for the past 7 weeks. We're onboarding fresh talent each and every week on the Positive Influencer program. So if you think you have it in you to have your content showcased on our platform, drop your video. Head to www.republicpositiveinfluencer.in and drop your video sample. If WhatsApp is just easier, the number is on your screen. Drop us your sample and we'll dial you right back and get things working together. We'll see you in episode 15. Thank you so much for watching and have a super positive week ahead.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
After the massive success of Operation Sindoor, which underlined India's dominance in the skies, another story is quietly unfolding within the Indian Air Force. This one will multiply the Indian Air Force's punch and add more firepower to one of its most advanced fighter jets, the Sukhoi 30 MKI, and make it more lethal for our adversaries. The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI, the backbone of our Air Force, is getting a radical makeover. And it is not just an upgrade, it is a transformation. Yes, we are talking about the Super Sukhoi, the massive 70,000 crore rupee upgrade that will make Sukhoi 30 more dominant than it already is. Let's start with the why. The Su-30 MKI is already...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Welcome, you're watching Republic TV with me, Akanksha Khajuria. F-35 fighter jet remains stranded in the state of Kerala. We'll get you more updates on that, but first, as always, the headlines. 25-member British aviation engineering team arrives in Trivandrum to examine the F-35 jet today. Jet is stranded for over 3 weeks. One dead, 4 injured after blast at a firecracker factory in Tamil Nadu. CBI has bust biggest medical college scam. Godman ex-UGC chief among 34 have been named. Prime Minister arrives in Brazil for the BRICS summit, diaspora engagement and key bilaterals on agenda. Shiromani Akali Dal SAD leader Bikram Singh Majithia sent to 14 days judicial custody following completion of 11 days remand.
I join millions around the world in wishing His Holiness
the 14th Dalai Lama a most happy and joyful 98th birthday.
PM Modi wishes Dalai Lama on his 90th birthday. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju attended the birthday event in Dharamshala. A team of technical experts on board the British Royal Air Force Airbus A400M at least arrived at Wyndham International Airport to assess the British Royal Navy F-35 fighter jet that made an emergency landing at the airport at least 2 weeks back, that is on June 14th. Now, after remaining grounded for over 2 weeks due to technical faults, the aircraft will now be dismantled and transported back to the United Kingdom on board the C-17 Globemaster transport aircraft is what we are learning. Since June 14, this F-35 fighter jet is stranded in the state of Kerala. And now what we're learning is that it will be dismantled and transported back to the United Kingdom. And what we're learning is that engineering team is going to be arriving at the international airport in Kerala to dismantle it and take it back to the United Kingdom. So later today, in fact, what we're learning is that an engineering team from the United Kingdom will be arriving at Trivandrum International Airport to assess the British Royal Navy F-35B fighter jet that made an emergency landing at the airport on June 14th. Let me go across to my colleague Ashwin, who joins us live on the broadcast with more details. Ashwin, you've been tracking this story very closely. You showed us the images of that F-35 fighter jet as well. Tell us what the situation on the ground is and how soon can it be taken back to the United Kingdom?
Well, Akanksha, there's a lot of update. In fact, just 15 minutes ago, we have been able to get the visuals of the F-35 being moved towards the Air India hangar. Now, the team of crew members of 31 people had in fact come on an A400 at 12:42, and after that, what we have seen is this. We have secured this very exclusive visuals where the F-35 was towed towards the Air India hangar on the other corner. It was essentially parked in Bay 4 in the domestic side, but now it has been moved towards the Air India hangar, which is very much close to the international terminal side as well. Now, this is a very important update that we are bringing in, and exclusive visuals, in fact, captured by video journalist Mani. What we are showing you is, in fact, these very important visuals. It is being towed now towards the Air India hangar. What is expected is that the engineers will be looking into the problem with the F-35 in the hangar. And earlier, it was also told that by 4 p.m., this particular flight which landed, the A400 which landed, is supposed to return back. Now, whether they will return it back with the flight or not was not clear earlier. But now we are getting information that a part of the crew members is likely to stay in Thiruvananthapuram to get it repaired in the hangar, while the eyes are always there on the F-35, the 5th generation stealth fighter jet. So these visuals speaks for itself. The aircraft which has been grounded at Bay 4 for the last 21 days, that's 3 weeks now, has now been moved towards the Air India hangar, and that's the big breaking update.
Absolutely, Ashwin. And do tell us about India's assistance in this case, because what we're learning after dismantling and after the engineering work is done, it'll be taken with this C-17 aircraft. It'll be transported back to the United Kingdom. So tell us about the assistance that India is giving as far as this entire process is concerned.
Akanksha, I want to correct you there. It is not the C-17, it is the A400 which has come over here. C-17 was a speculation. It is not true. What has come here is an A400. Now, stating that the A400 has come with the specialized equipments and engineers, and they are likely to repair it in the Air India hangar. Now, India has provided assistance on consistent basis, and in fact, this recent press note which has also come has given the testimonial to what India has done. They have profusely thanked the Indian authorities for the assistance that was rendered. In fact, the statement that was given was UK has accepted the offer of a space in the maintenance and repair and the overhaul in the hangar itself. The aircraft was moved over there, and currently the specialist equipments and everything necessary for the movement and repair process have been brought in the A400 flight. Now, after that, the UK has stated that they remain very grateful. I repeat, the UK remains very grateful for the continued support and collaboration of the Indian authorities and the airport team, which is manned by the Adani group. So certainly there has been a profuse thanking and gratefulness that has been expressed by the UK authorities in this regard, and India has shown a very tact diplomacy and in fact rendered all support to UK in this fiasco that opened up before them, an incident which is very minimally reported in UK press, but it has been extensively become a staple diet for the Indian media as well. Now, what we are unfolding today is the 21 days of enamor of anxiety and curiosity, which is now slowly coming to a conclusion. What we are showing you, these visuals, in fact, are the final possibility of getting it repaired and taking it off. So the dismantling part is currently right now out of the table for the time being, unless there is confirmation. This will not be done. There won't be any dismantling is what we get to understand, but we have not got an official confirmation on it yet. What is going to happen in the hangar, it will be a very information which will be extremely privy, and we'll probably try to get some information from our sources to know what is going to happen in the hangar, whether is it going to be a dismantling or is it going to be a repair that's going to happen in the hangar of Air India where F-35 has been moved. Akanksha.
Absolutely, Ashwin. And as you also mentioned, the British High Commission has issued a press statement. They've said that the aircraft will be moved along following the arrival of the UK engineers who are carrying equipments necessary for the movement and repair process. So Ashwin, take us through what sort of repair process will be taken out, since you've been tracking this story since the last 3 weeks.
In fact, the hydraulic system is what is meant to be repaired. If we have to talk about the hydraulic system, the engineers who must have brought in, because A400 is a massive jumbo jet. Now, just to bring in officials, they wouldn't use it. So probably we are taking a guess that there's going to be some equipments, specialized equipments, which will help in repair of it. So what we understand is that is going to be used. These equipments will be put to use, and repair possibilities will be looked in by these 31 engineers. A significant part of these engineers, we have been told by the Indian authorities that they will return back, but the preliminary investigation is being done by them, and that is why 31 members have come down. More information we are awaiting, but one thing is the F-35, which was grounded at Bay 4, has been moved to the Air India hangar, and it has completely been moved there, and the A400 is what you can see, this visual, the A400 which landed. Now you can see the A400 which is over there, that is also there right now, and what the image of the F-35, we cannot bring it because it has now been taken into the hangar. Now the members from the A44 are likely to come out. There might be some kind of movement that we are expecting, but at the moment what we can say is it has been moved to the hangar, and repair or whatever possible way ahead will be looked in by this team which has come from Muscat. They had taken a flight from Muscat that left at 9:57 a.m. IST, and now what you see is that finally F-35 has been moved to the hangar.
Absolutely, and the team has arrived there at the international airport. But let's talk about the transportation of this. It is the 5th generation cell jet, which will be taken to the United Kingdom. It will not be a cakewalk, Ashwin, won't it be?
When you look at it, certainly there is a lot of technicality. We are privy to those information, but the A400 is very well capable of taking this flight inside, is what we are understanding. And but the official confirmation that we have got, from the sources, is that they are trying to repair it and then the jet can take off, because it's also a matter of pride for UK as well. And certainly these images speak for itself. What we have been following for the last 21 days of this flight, and what unrolled, the story that unrolled over it. Certainly very, very interesting. Today there's likely to be a conclusion on it and on the repair and all the possibilities. And it is likely that once the repair is done, the flight may take off by itself, or any other possible dismantling is not confirmed. But we have to wait and watch what the authorities are going to be doing in this regard. Akansha.
Absolutely. This, in fact, aircraft made an emergency landing at that international airport on June 14th is what we're learning. It's been 3 weeks, and now what we're learning is that the engineering team has arrived there, and they will be carrying out the dismantling along with the engineering, the repair, etc. And then it remains to be seen how it will be taken to the United Kingdom. There you can see the visuals from Trivandrum Airport. That's the international airport, where just on June 14th, this aircraft made an emergency landing. Now the repair work will be happening. The dismantling will be happening. Ashwin.
Absolutely. We are again dismantling or not has yet to be affirmed, but certainly the work it has been taken into a hangar. Essentially, when it has been moved into a hangar, what is wrong with this flight will be looked in by the top engineers. These are the guys who, Lockheed Martin engineers, are the guys who made it. They will be looking into it. They will be checking if there's a possibility of taking it off by himself, or the spare parts have all been brought in the A400 is what we get to understand. If that is possible, whichever is the easiest method possible, that is being looked in. Remember, for the last 21 days, ever since the flight was there, especially after the third day, there was multiple offers given by the Indian authorities that this can be moved into the Air India hangar, but that was refused. And from defense experts, what we understand is that the UK always wanted an eye on their jet, and that is the reason. But now, when 31 engineers have come over here, they would want to look into it, and the hangar probably must have been completely been given to them to ensure all security protocols, because what is under the hood of this flight, what is under the belly of this flight is something extra sophisticated, and there is a fear for espionage or any kind of fears there, and allying those fears and understanding those fears, the Indian authorities have given all kind of cooperation to the UK as well, and certainly they have been grateful for it.
Live visuals that we can see on the screen from the Trivandrum International Airport, where this F-35B fighter jet is currently there. And in fact, what we're learning is that the engineering team is at the spot. This fighter jet has been moved to the hangar area. The engineers have arrived. The dismantling will happen. The repairing work will be undertaken. And then it remains to be seen how this will be carried back to the United Kingdom. Now, shifting our focus to the state of Karnataka, 10 Dalit professors is what we are learning at the Bangalore University. They have resigned from their post, and this is in fact the breaking update that we are getting for you. 10 Dalit professors at Bangalore University have submitted their resignation to the Vice Chancellor, claiming that there is discrimination in the appointment of the post and deliberate bypassing of the reservation policies. In a formal letter, the professors have cited persistent neglect of their concern despite repeated appeals, claiming that the university administration has manipulated the system to exclude eligible candidates from the marginalized community. Dalit professors, a handful of them have resigned from their post. Let me go across to my colleague Sri Lakshmi, who joins us from the Bangalore newsroom. Sri Lakshmi, tell us more about this, because this is very concerning. 10 Dalit professors, they have submitted their resignation, claiming that there have been irregularities. There have been, in fact, as far as selection is concerned. Give us more details about this.
Well, 10 Dalit professors have already submitted their resignation, and there are another set of 67 professors who have written a letter against these discriminations and alleged discrimination. And it is also said that these backlog posts were empty, and appointments have been made for these backlog posts in the university, violating the rules formed by the government of Karnataka. The roster rules and many other rules which will benefit SC/ST community. And now these 67 professors are saying that a letter already has been given to the Vice Chancellor claiming that a huge discrimination is happening against SC/ST professors, and 10 have submitted their resignation. Now it is up to the Raj Bhavan and also the Chief Minister of Karnataka to look into this matter immediately, because what has happened in the university is it is said that Vice Chancellor has appointed around 5 professors from different universities of Karnataka without giving them any post, and it is also alleged that violating the norms of SC/ST benefits, these appointments have been happening. And there is another set of 22 posts which are being empty currently, and those posts are meant for SC/ST community professors, and that has not been fulfilled yet. So asking these questions, on which basis these appointments have been made, and why those 22 posts are empty, and asking these questions and against discrimination, these professors have written a letter to the Vice Chancellor of the university. Now this case may go to the Chief Minister of Karnataka. Back to studio.
Absolutely. Now this case will go to the Chief Minister, but these Dalit professors have said that they have faced discrimination and they have tendered their resignation. Shifting our focus, there's been a panic at the Palma airport in Spain. A Ryanair flight headed to Manchester had to abort takeoff after fire alert that went off inside the aircraft. Several passengers, what we're learning, were injured in this emergency evacuation. Here's more on that.
After midnight yesterday, a Ryanair Boeing 737 at Palma de Mallorca airport triggered a fire alarm moments before takeoff. The crew immediately opened emergency exits, but chaos and panic ensued. Frightened, passengers climbed onto the aircraft's wing and jumping directly onto the tarmac, bypassing inflatable sides in their rush. 18 passengers sustained mainly minor injuries. 6 of the 18 injured were hospitalized, with patients taken to 2 local hospitals in Palma. Emergency services responded swiftly, dispatching 4 ambulances, airport firefighters, and civic guard officers. Ryanair confirmed the alarm was a false alert, apologized to passengers, and arranged a replacement aircraft for departure to Manchester. This scare follows last week's American Airlines emergency after an engine fire forced a mid-air diversion to Las Vegas.
And back in India, in Uttar Pradesh, there's high alert as Muharram and Kawad Yatra, both major religious events, are overlapping this year, prompting unprecedented security measures. Authorities in Muzaffarnagar have deployed drones, installed thousands of CCTV cameras, set up multiple control rooms, barriers, mobilized tens and thousands of police officers, paramilitary, ATS, NDRF, SDRF, and bomb disposal squad on this particular day. Surveillance also extends to AI-enabled cameras, social media monitoring, and real-time crowd tracking as well. Here is the ground report.
मुजफ्फरनगर में कांवड़ यात्रा और मुहर्रम को लेकर पुलिस लगातार अलर्ट पर है, मुस्तैद है। हम इस वक्त मौजूद हैं शिव चौक। ये वही शिव चौक है जहां पर जो कांवड़िया आते हैं यहां पर ज़रूर मत्था टेकते हैं, भगवान शिव को प्रणाम करते हैं और फिर हरिद्वार की तरफ रवाना होते हैं। बहुत व्यस्त चौराहा है और बहुत संवेदनशील ये माना जाता है शिव चौक, चूँकि यहाँ दोनों समुदाय की आबादी है। और ये सामने पुलिस चौकी, पुलिस की मुस्तैदी आप देख रहे हैं। यहाँ पर पुलिस तैनात है और हर गाड़ी को देखा जा रहा है। ये बहुत व्यस्त रूट, यहाँ से कांवड़ियों का भी रूट है। कांवड़िया बड़ी संख्या में आते हैं। जो 11 जुलाई को कांवड़ यात्रा शुरू होगी, तो इस दौरान बहुत ये व्यस्त रोड हो जाएगी। इस लिहाज से यहाँ पर बंदोबस्ती की गई है। ऊपर कांवड़ कंट्रोल रूम यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं, कांवड़ कंट्रोल रूम ऊपर तैयार किया जा रहा है और इससे भी शिव चौक पर निगरानी रखी जाएगी। लगातार यहाँ पर पुलिस मुस्तैद है और यहाँ पर कंट्रोल रूम तैयार किया गया है। अब
हाँ, ऊपर किया हुआ है।
तो ये कांवड़ रूट यही है, यहीं से कांवड़िया आते हैं और यहाँ पर भगवान शिव को प्रणाम करके आगे बढ़ते हैं।
हाँ, ही पाए जाते हैं।
और मुहर्रम को लेकर भी आपको अतिरिक्त तैनाती की गई है, ज़्यादा मुस्तैदी दी।
जी।
तो मुहर्रम और कांवड़ यात्रा दोनों को ध्यान में रखते हुए लगातार मुस्तैदी की जा रही है। जो शिव चौक है, शिव चौक के पास पुलिस को लगाया गया है और यहाँ पर लगातार नज़र रखी जा रही है कहीं कोई असामाजिक तत्व ना हो, कहीं कोई उपद्रव की कोशिश ना करे।
Let me go across to my colleague Sagar, who joins us live from Sambal in Uttar Pradesh. Sagar, tell us, because Muharram और कांवड़ यात्रा दोनों एक ही दिन है, किस तरह की सिचुएशन है अभी ग्राउंड में, किस तरह के सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स हैं पुलिस के द्वारा वहां पे?
देखिए आकांक्षा, बिल्कुल अगर हम बात करें मुहर्रम का जुलूस इस समय निकाला जा रहा है रिपब्लिक भारत, ये संभल की लाइव तस्वीरें दिखा रहा है। साथ में देखिए ये जो रूट कावड़ का भी है। इस जुलूस के दौरान जो है भारी संख्या में पुलिस बल की जो यहाँ पर तैनाती की गई, लगभग पीएससी की यहाँ पर 3 से 4 कंपनियां भी यहाँ पर तैनात की गई हैं। पुलिस के जवान जो है लगातार इस जुलूस के साथ ही साथ चल रहे हैं। जहां पर भी ट्रैफिक लग रहा है, जहां पर भी हालात जो है सही है, लगातार ही उसको मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं, खुद कंट्रोल में। देखिए लगभग 4 से 5 देखिए यहाँ पर जो है जुलूस यहाँ पर मुहर्रम का इस पूरी रोड पर निकाला जा रहा है। जहां तक कैमरे की नजर जाएगी रिपब्लिक भारत की, आप देख पा रही हैं उस पर। लेकिन साथ में जो आसपास के पुलिस थानों के इंचार्ज है, जो चौकी है, वहां पर भी हमने दिखाया सुबह सुबह कैसे ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल रूम से, माफ करिए, सीसीटीवी के जरिए पूरी निगरानी की जा रही है। पुलिस कर्मियों ने इस बात की भी जानकारी दी थी। लेकिन अब देखिए बड़ी बात यह है कि जो गाइडलाइन थी गवर्नमेंट की, जो प्रशासन की जो गाइडलाइन थी, लगातार उसका भी इस ताजिए में पालन किया गया। जूम करके एक बार दिखाइए, लगभग 12 फीट बोला गया था कि ताजिया की जो हाइट है वो होनी चाहिए जुलूस जिस दौरान निकाला जाएगा। लगभग देखिए प्रशासन की गाइडलाइन का यहाँ पर पालन किया गया है और जो भी मुस्लिम धर्म के लोग हैं बड़े शांतिपूर्वक देखिए इस मुहर्रम के जुलूस को यहाँ पर निकाल रहे हैं। प्रशासन ने जो यहाँ पर मानक तय किए थे उसी के आधार पर देखिए सब कुछ यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है। लेकिन देखिए 2 पर्व बड़े एक साथ है, कांवड़ यात्रा भी एक तरफ निकाली जा रही है तो इधर मुहर्रम का जुलूस भी है। इसको लेकर संभल जो है पूरी तरह से हाई अलर्ट पर है। बड़ी बात यह है कि संभल में जो जो रूट देखिए जाता है कांवड़ यात्रा के लिए, ये सब वही रूट है और इसी से देखिए ताजिया भी होकर जाना है। ऐसे में पुलिस कहीं से भी नहीं चाहती कि लापरवाही यहाँ पर हो, क्योंकि योगी सरकार की भी पूरी नजर है यहाँ पर। अब आप देखिए जहां अगर कुछ देर के लिए अगर यहाँ पर ताजिया को होल्ड अगर यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है तो वहां पर पुलिसकर्मी भी रोक के मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं कि आखिर कहीं से भी हालात यहाँ पर ना बिगड़े। इसको देखिए पूरा ख्याल यहाँ पर रखा जा रहा है। अगर मैं बात करूं इमाम हुसैन की शहादत को याद करते हुए ये मुहर्रम का जुलूस यहाँ पर ये लोग निकाल रहे हैं, इस बात को भी यहाँ पर ध्यान में रख रहे हैं कि जो प्रशासन की गाइडलाइन है उसका भी यहाँ पर पालन हो। देखिए ये पहला मैं आपको जुलूस दिखा रहा हूँ, पीछे अगर मैं दिखाऊं तो ऐसे ही लगभग 4 से 5 देखिए ताजिया यहाँ पर निकाला जा रहा है। एक बार पूछ भी लेते हैं, प्रशासन की गाइडलाइन का पूरा पालन आप?
जी पूरा पालन कर रहे हैं।
क्या क्या गाइडलाइन रही है ताजिया को?
आपने 12 फीट की ऊंचाई बताई है, वही 12 फीट की ऊंचाई हम ला रहे हैं। जी जी।
और जो कहा गया था कि नाबालिग बच्चों का नहीं
है, कोई बच्चा नहीं है।
देखा आपने जिस तरह से हमने बातचीत की, प्रशासन की गाइडलाइन का पूरा यहाँ पर पालन और इनका ये कहना कि जो भी मानक तय की गया उसी के आधार पर ये ताजिया यहाँ पर निकाला जा रहा है। बड़ी बात यह है कि इस पूरे मुहर्रम के जुलूस में संभल में ऐसा पहली बार है, कितना शांतिपूर्वक पर्व देखिए लोग मना रहे हैं। और जो 52 से 55 फीट की ऊंचाई होती थी आकांक्षा, लेकिन देखिए इसको कम अब किया गया है। वजह केवल एक है, अब देखिए इस चौराहे से देखिए सभी जो है ताजिया होकर गुजरेगा और इसीलिए पुलिस जो है चारों दिशाओं में यहाँ पर अलर्ट पर यहाँ पर रखी गई है। ट्रैफिक पुलिस कर्मी भी लगातार देखिए इस रूट को यहाँ पर ब्लॉक कर रहे हैं और ये भी बता रहे हैं कि आप रूट को डाइवर्ट आप करिए, क्योंकि इधर से जहां जहां से ताजिया जा रही है, जहां जहां से कांवड़ यात्रा जा रही है, लगातार ट्रैफिक पुलिस कर्मी भी इस बात का खास ख्याल यहाँ पर रखते हुए दिखाई दे रहे हैं। अगर मैं जूम करके उधर दिखाइएगा संतोष, उधर भी देखिए तमाम पुलिसकर्मी पीएससी के जवानों की बटालियन जो यहाँ पर तैनात की गई है चप्पे चप्पे पर, वो भी मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूँ। क्योंकि हर एक चौराहों पर, हर एक चौक पर पीएससी के जवान, फायर ब्रिगेड की गाड़ियां मैं आपको दिखाऊं। फायर ब्रिगेड की गाड़ी भी इधर देखिए संतोष, प्रमोद दिखाइए, देखिए फायर ब्रिगेड की गाड़ियां भी यहाँ पर एहतियातन के तौर पर यहाँ पर रखी गई हैं, ताकि अगर कोई भी देखिए आपातकालीन अवस्था अगर आए तो पीएससी के जवान देखिए मोर्चा तो संभाले हुए, लेकिन फायर ब्रिगेड की गाड़ियां भी अगर कोई भी यहाँ पर घटना होती है तो उस दौरान यहाँ पर पूरी तरह से अलर्ट पर रहे। इनका मकसद केवल एक है कि शांतिपूर्वक कावड़ यात्रा और मुहर्रम का पर्व जो है यहाँ पर मनाया जाए। देखिए जहाँ पर भीड़ एकत्रित हो रही है वहां पर भी जो है देखिए तमाम यहाँ पर जवान जो है एकत्रित हैं। लगातार यहाँ पर भीड़ जो है ज्यादा इकट्ठी ना हो, हालात ना बिगड़े, उनको तितर बितर करने के लिए आंसू गैस के गोलों के साथ अपने पूरे वेपन्स के साथ यहाँ पर ग्राउंड पर लगातार मुस्तैद है। प्रशासन के लिए बड़ी चुनौती थी क्योंकि एक तरफ कावड़ यात्रा तो एक तरफ मुहर्रम का जुलूस इस तरह से निकालना, लेकिन इस बीच प्रशासन लगातार इस चुनौती को स्वीकार करते हुए और पूरी कड़ाई के साथ हर एक नियमों का पालन करा रहा है। आकांक्षा, बैक टू स्टूडियो।
Absolutely, and this Sambal area in Uttar Pradesh is anyway a very sensitive area, and that's why we are seeing security arrangements there in place. But the situation remains normal on ground. Thank you so much, Sagar, for all the details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. Now, shifting our focus on Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, Buddhist monk offered special prayers at the Tibetan monastery in Bodh Gaya. Hollywood actor and practicing Buddhist Richard Gere has also joined his birthday celebration in Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh. Here's more.
Bharat 1 Minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together we can.
It's Dalai Lama's 90th birthday today, and all across the country we saw celebrations not just in Dharamshala but at several places across the country and in fact the world. There you can see several Buddhist monks offering prayers in Dharamshala, in Bodh Gaya in Bihar as well, and in the national capital as well. 4 people died after their car slipped off the road and fell down the mountain near Ryanair, which is in Rohtang Pass in Kullu district in Himachal Pradesh. There were a total of 5 people in this vehicle. 1 person is seriously injured. Rescue operation is currently underway. Delhi Police Crime Branch arrested a criminal, Ajay Lamba alias Bansi, a proclaimed offender who had been absconding from the last 25 years. The accused, a notorious robber cum murderer, was involved in 4 brutal robbery cum murder cases targeting cab drivers across the national capital, UP and Uttarakhand since 2001. And with this, we're taking a very short break. Coming up on the other side, CBI has busted biggest medical college scam. Government ex-UGC chief among 34 have been named. Shiromani Akali Dal leader Bikram Singh Majitia has been sent to 14 days custody following completion of his 11 days remand. This and much more on the other side. Keep watching Republic TV.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi and National Law School Bangalore.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
After the massive success of Operation Sindoor, which underlined India's dominance in the skies, another story is quietly unfolding within the Indian Air Force. This one will multiply the Indian Air Force's punch and add more firepower to one of its most advanced fighter jets, the Sukhoi 30 MKI, and make it more lethal for our adversaries. The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI, the
Welcome to this special panel titled She Builds Bharat. In fact, I'm joined by Sonali Rastogi, who is the founding partner at Morphogenesis. You all must have seen that big, beautiful diamond building in Surat, and she's the one who designed it. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV and be part of this real estate conclave. I want to start with asking about your experience about being in this industry. What led you to come here and start your own architectural design firm?
Firstly, thank you for inviting me to this event. It's an honor to be here. And I have a very easy answer to that. I was born to parents who are architects. I was scribbling things on drawings, planting trees on models before I could literally walk. So I think it was my destiny. One that I have embraced with passion, with a mission and with a vision, and I live every day by that.
All right, since the title of this panel is She Builds Bharat, what does building Bharat means to you? You're an architecture yourself.
You know, after my education in architecture, which was part in India in School of Planning and Architecture Delhi and part at Architectural Association London, I returned to open this firm in '96 with my partner Manit. At that time, you know, we were just seeing the impact of liberalization. There were private clients emerging in the market. There were new typologies coming in the market, and that's what attracted us to come back and set up practice here. You know, the building Bharat for us started at that point. You know, this was the first time there were developers across the country. This was the first time we were going to high-rise living. First time there were retail outlets like malls, different kind of institutional projects, a different interpretation of luxury, a different interpretation of sustainability, which before this was just called green architecture, right. Something that sort of vaguely meant green gardens which people make abroad. So we came back to be part of this sustainable future that was to be created. In addition to that, having studied in early 90s in England and Europe, I realized that the Indian design prominence was absolutely missing. We were not part of any dialogue. Our centuries of tradition, heritage, we've known how to build cities before the world woke up to what cities are. And none of that was part of a global dialogue. And we were excluded. Earlier panel has talked about included. My journey started from feeling excluded. And hence, part of the vision of coming back and setting up Morphogenesis and building in India was to play my part to make the Indian design voice globally included.
Mm-hmm. And I was going through your write-ups. You've mentioned that role of architects is very critical at this point because India has to lead. India doesn't have to copy the world. Do you want to elaborate on that? So, as per our economic projections, we have 1 billion square meters to build, and which is literally one whole city of Chicago. That's the amount of built-up area we have to build in this country every year to meet our economic projections. We are also talking in the next 10 years of 200 million migrants from rural to urban. So, and this is probably the fastest rate of internal migration in the history of the world. Who is going to accommodate this migration? Who is going to accommodate these people? Who is going to build this? So, building 1 billion square meters, it's a sort of an unconceivable amount. So therefore, this is a key turning point for nation builders, for the developers who spoke before me, for me to play my role in fulfilling my vision and mission, personally and for my country. And this is the point at which the world will be looking at us. Because
a large majority proportion of building that is going to happen on planet Earth is going to happen here and now in Bharat.
Absolutely. And you're a woman leader making a mark in this industry, which has long been seen as a male-dominated one. So do you want to talk about, has it been challenging for you? How do you look at this industry through that sort of a lens?
I think what we have learned as a firm, which by the way is a gender-positive firm towards women, we are always more than 51% women at Morphogenesis by choice. What I have learned is nothing matters more than delivering a successful project.
Absolutely.
And once that reputation becomes important, the definition of woman or male architect recedes a little bit. Of course, gray hairs help, but generally that reputation recedes if you deliver in a very futuristic, in a technology-embraced way, in a timely fashion, product that meets global aspirations, and you have been an empathetic listener in the whole process, and you have been inclusive. That's what really helped me supersede the gender tag.
And you're just not building homes, you're building dreams. So would you say that that being a women leader brings a human side to this entire the architectural design or home building? Would you say that?
You know, I'd like to believe that it does, because architecture is, for me, it's like looking into a crystal ball. So it's a reflection of what is going on, but more than anything, it's a projection of what can be. And what can be is always part of an ecosystem. To get to what can be requires a lot of care and requires inclusiveness. I want to say that I think this comes more naturally to women. I'm not saying it's not there with men, but I think if I had to make a gender differentiation, I think to take along the social ecosystem in whatever you do is just somehow tends to be a more quality of the female gender.
And staying on this topic, as far as architecture or design is concerned, what do you think, what are the glass ceilings that still need to be broken?
So, I think the glass ceilings we need to break are as a real estate and architecture community as a whole. One of those is we need to embrace technology more strongly. You'll be surprised to know that actually the creators of technology that we use, architecture is and real estate is one of the top segments for which technology is created. Whether you look at softwares, whether you look at three-dimensional modeling, virtual reality, AI software, actually it's always created for designers, probably way ahead of other segments. But it's the embracing of technology. We need to today have a completely new vision rather than constantly worrying about this hurdle, this permission, that concrete, this, that, or the other. It just, the conversation needs to change. It needs to be a different paradigm. It needs to bring about that kind of change that first internet brought around to our lives, and now AI is very rapidly brought around to our lives. I think unless we make a very large paradigm shift in our thinking, which is circumventing this making plotted lands, then getting bylaws passed, then getting change in land use, then hurdle after hurdle, economic hurdles as we heard earlier. Now this cannot be the way to move forward. It has to be embracing technology, embracing vision, making targets match. Like we have a target to go net zero in this country by 2070. But if we are going to be building billion square meters now, which is not net zero, how does that target match? Or is it just some statement? So sustainability has to be thought through in a very different paradigm. Construction. Now we talk about an absence of labor, which China has, but we have technology. We have all the IITs supporting 3D printed construction, but 3D printed construction is at most a sample flat today in a developer's site. So, of course we can circumvent labor problem. We talk about skill development programs, but are they targeted for tomorrow? we have endless supply of people who are doing rural to urban migration. So why are they not being skilled? Why are we still lamenting about 80% of the labor on site not being skilled? So because we are still thinking the same ways of building blocks. We are not thinking the resource that is available, technology that is available, and what is the definition for the new paradigm.
All right, so if we talk about technology, since we are on that topic, I was going through one of your interviews and you spoke about AI and that you're still wary of artificial intelligence and its role as far as architecture is concerned. Do you want to elaborate on the role?
Yes. So that was, I think, December 2022 when DALI had first come out. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh my God, this is like literally escaping out of my hand, right? But I think I was short-sighted. I think the developments that are happening, literally I think of, oh, I think I should be doing this, which will remove the need of laborious work and give me more creative time, but I can't find a software to do it. Next thing I know, within 2 months, Midjourney is already thinking about how to put it out there like that. And here I'm talking about just, these are not core softwares, these are representational software. But generative AI is now addressing design solutions, I feel, above everything else. And I've committed myself as my learning skilling exercise, 8 hours a week where I spend on this.
All right.
I've recently done a workshop at IIT Delhi, and I think, my God, if we had to spend time with thinking and innovation, then AI is liberating that time for us. So it's not taking away, but it's giving me more headspace and mind space than ever before to actually think about thinking. Ownership is important, but what is your ambition being met with right here, right now is more important.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
After the massive success of Operation Sindoor, which underlined India's dominance in the skies, another story is quietly unfolding within the Indian Air Force. This one will multiply the Indian Air Force's punch and add more firepower to one of its most advanced fighter jets, the Sukhoi 30 MKI, and make it more lethal for our adversaries. The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI, the backbone of our Air Force, is getting a radical makeover. And it is not just an upgrade, it is a transformation. Yes, we are talking about the Super Sukhoi, the massive 70,000 crore rupee upgrade that will make Sukhoi 30 more dominant than it already is. Let's start with the why. The Su-30 MKI is already India's most numerous and battle-tested fighter. But the F-16s across the border have seen several upgrades, and China is fielding next-gen platforms as well. India needed more than a match, it needed mastery. Enter the Super Sukhoi.
Let's talk more about urban design. It's as far as architectural real estate sector is concerned, it's long been tied to this idea of roti, kapada and makan. But today's generation is more ambitious, they're more fast evolving. So how do you stay connected to that old idea and still build people's house, build their dreams as well?
So, you know, Uber changed it all. And roti, kapada, makan, gaadi, ghadi, ये सब कुछ होता था. हाँ. पर right now, ownership is important, but what is your ambition being met with right here, right now is more important. So I think somewhere typology in real estate should and will soon be addressing that as well. It's no longer the case that I can wait till I'm 40 and then own a house. Either I own it now or I move on to another idea. Right? If I can't own it, then I move on to co-living or I move on to something else. But my quality of life that gives me freedom is necessary right here, right now. And that is what we need to design for.
Let's talk about your journey. Has there been any one instance that has stayed with you, that has changed the way you think about your industry, architecture, urban design, etc.?
So I think I'd like to give an example that I had a learning from Surat Diamond Bourse. So we won a global competition to do that in 2018 end. We have developed the design for about a year. And then when it was to go into construction, COVID hit. And the way the diamond merchants community came together to ensure that their dream did not get derailed during COVID was a learning. It was how communities and societies can organize themselves, how they can give each one a job description, how each community can say how to do this better. So I had 400 clients because it was a community-driven project. And they divided themselves into different segments. Each came up with, okay, I'm responsible for building facade. Architect will not be told to change their vision, will not be changed to dilute the vision because we want to make global impact. But how will I solve the supply line? How will I make everything not just made in India? Now it became made in Gujarat because state boundaries used to get shut down every now and then. And then that used to derail construction. How am I going to look after the community that is going to build this? So I will open the entire community village on the site. I will open a school on the site. I will open a hospital on the site. People will get COVID, they will go there, they'll get fixed and they'll come back. So it was how a community which had a common vision organized itself. And how the vision actually grew manifold due to proper job descriptions, proper KRAs that initially looked like they were difficult to meet, and how getting local, inclusive, and community thinking for each person who helped build that project was how this world's largest building, perhaps most sustainable at that scale because it consumes 50% of the LEED's platinum rated buildings do world over, 50% of that energy only, and it derailed by 6 months only due to COVID. So I have had a lot of learning about community inclusiveness and success based on that, and I have become a full believer in locally made.
All right, since we're talking about this phenomenal building in Surat, are there any other projects that you're really proud of? I read about one in the mountains as well that you did for a skincare brand.
Yes.
Would you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, so during COVID, we finished this building, which was the world's largest office building, 7.1 million square feet. Then we finished a small building, 10,000 square feet, up in Lodsi, where there was no road, no water, no electricity. A road stopped 2 kilometers before the top of the mountain. And we built a 10,000 square feet energy surplus building that creates a very luxurious brand, Forest Essentials. It had very high standards of the quality of air, the quality of sunlight, because that's how the product is, Ayurvedic product. But it was in COVID. How we had no people, how people going to build? So we built that project together with 60 local people who were not laborers, who were housewives, who were students, who were cattle herders, and we understood from them what they could do and modified the design based on that. The facility now works as an evening school as well because it's energy surplus. So it works as an evening school for the children of that hill. So it was perhaps one of the most satisfying experiences of my lifetime. It also inculcated a thought in my head about decentralized urbanization. If Estee Lauder, that is a partner of Forest Essentials, and a product which is a luxury product selling at the highest price point and sells in, I don't know, perhaps over 100 countries around the world, and gives employment right there on a hill where there was no electricity at the top. it gives employment to 60 households right there on a daily basis. I wish this exercise could be carried out all across India. So whilst migration is imminent,
right,
but migration should be out of choice, not out of helplessness. And these kind of projects will help eliminate that helplessness and let people be included in nation building.
Absolutely. And my last question to you, what message would you give to a girl who wants to venture into architecture, urban design? What message would you give to her?
So it's a really difficult profession, just because it's not a profession where you define everything. You know, it's a profession where there are many collaborators, many players. There's a large involvement of economics. There's a large involvement of technology, skills. And it's something which is a kind of you have to be a really learner profile person or want to be a learner profile, growth oriented person, especially in our country at this time. So I would say it's a phenomenal profession. It's given me more than I could have asked life for in terms of satisfaction. But only pursue if you feel you can do it with complete passion, where it becomes one with your life. It's not a profession which is, I go to work now, switch off, now this is my work-life balance home time. It's one with my life. I live it 24/7, 365 days a year. Sometimes I wake up and I've solved a problem which I've been struggling with for a week. So it's in my soul.
That's a good quality of a leader.
Yeah. So that's just what I'd like to tell somebody who
Thank you
this as
so
a
much.
profession.
And with this, we're ending this conversation with Sonali Rastogi, who's the founding partner at Morphogenesis. Thank you so much for being part of Republic TV and Real Estate Conclave. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. That was a very interesting conversation.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जलजीरा मसाला।
After the massive success of Operation Sindoor, which underlined India's dominance in the skies, another story is quietly unfolding within the Indian Air Force. This one will multiply the Indian Air Force's punch and add more firepower to one of its most advanced fighter jets, the Sukhoi 30 MKI, and make it more lethal for our adversaries. The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI, the backbone of our Air Force, is getting a radical makeover. And it is not just an upgrade, it is a transformation. Yes, we are talking about the Super Sukhoi, the massive 70,000 crore rupee upgrade that will make Sukhoi 30 more dominant than it already is. Let's start with the why. The Su-30 MKI is already India's most numerous and battle-tested fighter. But the F-16s across the border have seen several upgrades, and China is fielding next-gen platforms as well. India needed more than a match, it needed mastery. Enter the Super Sukhoi.
And back in India, in Uttar Pradesh, there's high alert as Muharram and Kawad Yatra, both major religious events, are overlapping this year, prompting unprecedented security measures. Authorities in Muzaffarnagar have deployed drones, installed thousands of CCTV cameras, set up multiple control rooms, barriers, mobilized tens and thousands of police officers, paramilitary, ATS, NDRF, SDRF, and bomb disposal squad on this particular day. Surveillance also extends to AI-enabled cameras, social media monitoring and real-time crowd tracking as well. Here is the ground report.
मुजफ्फरनगर में कांवड़ यात्रा और मुहर्रम को लेकर पुलिस लगातार अलर्ट पर है, मुस्तैद है। हम इस वक्त मौजूद हैं शिव चौक। ये वही शिव चौक है जहां पर जो कांवड़िया आते हैं यहां पर ज़रूर मत्था टेकते हैं, भगवान शिव को प्रणाम करते हैं और फिर हरिद्वार की तरफ रवाना होते हैं। बहुत व्यस्त चौराहा है और बहुत संवेदनशील ये माना जाता है शिव चौक, चूँकि यहाँ दोनों समुदाय की आबादी है। और ये सामने पुलिस चौकी, पुलिस की मुस्तैदी आप देख रहे हैं। यहाँ पर पुलिस तैनात है और हर गाड़ी को देखा जा रहा है। ये बहुत व्यस्त रूट, यहाँ से कांवड़ियों का भी रूट है। कांवड़िया बड़ी संख्या में आते हैं। जो 11 जुलाई को कांवड़ यात्रा शुरू होगी तो इस दौरान बहुत ये व्यस्त रोड हो जाएगी। इस लिहाज से यहाँ पर बंदोबस्ती की गई है। ऊपर कांवड़ कंट्रोल रूम यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं, कांवड़ कंट्रोल रूम ऊपर तैयार किया जा रहा है और इससे भी शिव चौक पर निगरानी रखी जाएगी। लगातार यहाँ पर पुलिस मुस्तैद है और यहाँ पर कंट्रोल रूम तैयार किया गया है। अब
हाँ, ऊपर किया हुआ है।
तो ये कांवड़ रूट यही है, यहीं से कांवड़िया आते हैं और यहाँ पर भगवान शिव को प्रणाम करके आगे बढ़ते हैं।
हाँ, ही पाए जाते हैं।
और मुहर्रम को लेकर भी आपको अतिरिक्त तैनाती की गई है, ज़्यादा मुस्तैदी दी।
जी जी।
तो मुहर्रम और कांवड़ यात्रा दोनों को ध्यान में रखते हुए लगातार मुस्तैदी की जा रही है। जो शिव चौक है, शिव चौक के पास पुलिस को लगाया गया है और यहाँ पर लगातार नज़र रखी जा रही है कहीं कोई असामाजिक तत्व ना हो, कहीं कोई उपद्रव की कोशिश ना करे।
Let me go across to my colleague Sagar, who joins us live from Sambal in Uttar Pradesh. Sagar, tell us, because Muharram और कांवड़ यात्रा दोनों एक ही दिन है, किस तरह की सिचुएशन है अभी ग्राउंड में, किस तरह के सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स हैं पुलिस के द्वारा वहां पे?
देखिए आकांक्षा, बिल्कुल अगर हम बात करें मुहर्रम का जुलूस इस समय निकाला जा रहा है रिपब्लिक भारत, ये संभल की लाइव तस्वीरें दिखा रहा है। साथ में देखिए ये जो है रूट कावड़ का भी है। इस जुलूस के दौरान जो है भारी संख्या में पुलिस बल की जो यहाँ पर तैनाती की गई, लगभग पीएससी की यहाँ पर 3 से 4 कंपनियां भी यहाँ पर तैनात की गई हैं। पुलिस के जवान जो है लगातार इस जुलूस के साथ ही साथ चल रहे हैं। जहां पर भी ट्रैफिक लग रहा है, जहां पर भी हालात जो है सही है, लगातार उसको मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं। खुद कंट्रोल में देखिए लगभग 4 से 5 देखिए यहाँ पर जो है जुलूस यहाँ पर मुहर्रम का इस पूरी रोड पर निकाला जा रहा है। जहां तक कैमरे की नजर जाएगी रिपब्लिक भारत की, आप देख पा रही हैं उस पर। लेकिन साथ में जो आसपास की पुलिस थानों के इंचार्ज है, जो चौकी है, वहां पर भी हमने दिखाया सुबह सुबह कैसे ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल रूम से माफ करी सीसीटीवी के जरिए पूरी निगरानी की जा रही है। पुलिस कर्मियों ने इस बात की भी जानकारी दी थी। लेकिन अब देखिए बड़ी बात यह है कि जो गाइडलाइन थी गवर्नमेंट की, जो प्रशासन की जो गाइडलाइन थी, लगातार उसका भी इस ताजिए में पालन किया गया। जूम करके एक बार दिखाइए, लगभग 12 फीट बोला गया था कि ताजिया की जो हाइट है वो होनी चाहिए जुलूस जिस दौरान निकाला जाएगा। लगभग देखिए प्रशासन की गाइडलाइन का यहाँ पर पालन किया गया है और जो भी मुस्लिम धर्म के लोग हैं बड़े शांतिपूर्वक देखिए इस मुहर्रम के जुलूस को यहाँ पर निकाल रहे हैं। प्रशासन ने जो यहाँ पर मानक तय किए थे उसी के आधार पर देखिए सब कुछ यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है। लेकिन देखिए दो पर्व बड़े एक साथ है, कावड़ यात्रा भी एक तरफ निकाली जा रही है तो इधर मुहर्रम का जुलूस भी है। इसको लेकर संभल जो है पूरी तरह से हाई अलर्ट पर है। बड़ी बात यह है कि संभल में जो जो रूट देखिए जाता है कावड़ यात्रा के लिए, ये सब वही रूट है और इसी से देखिए ताजिया भी होकर जाना है। ऐसे में पुलिस कहीं से भी नहीं चाहती कि लापरवाही यहाँ पर हो, क्योंकि योगी सरकार की भी पूरी नजर है यहाँ पर। अब आप देखिए जहां अगर कुछ देर के लिए अगर यहाँ पर ताजिया को होल्ड अगर यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है तो वहां पर पुलिसकर्मी भी रोक के मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं कि आखिर कहीं से भी हालात यहाँ पर ना बिगड़े। इसको देखिए पूरा ख्याल यहाँ पर रखा जा रहा है। अगर मैं बात करूं इमाम हुसैन की शहादत को याद करते हुए ये मुहर्रम का जुलूस यहाँ पर ये लोग निकाल रहे हैं, इस बात को भी यहाँ पर ध्यान में रख रहे हैं कि जो प्रशासन की गाइडलाइन है उसका भी यहाँ पर पालन हो। देखिए ये पहला मैं आपको जुलूस दिखा रहा हूँ, पीछे अगर मैं दिखाऊं तो ऐसे ही लगभग 4 से 5 देखिए ताजिया यहाँ पर निकाला जा रहा है। एक बार पूछ भी लेते हैं, प्रशासन की गाइडलाइन का पूरा पालन आप?
जी पूरा पालन कर रहे हैं।
क्या क्या गाइडलाइन रही है ताजिया को?
आपने 12 फीट की ऊंचाई बताई है, वही 12 फीट की ऊंचाई हम ला रहे हैं। जी जी।
और जो कहा गया था कि नाबालिग बच्चों का
नहीं है, कोई बच्चा नहीं है।
देखा आपने जिस तरह से हमने बातचीत की, प्रशासन की गाइडलाइन का पूरा यहाँ पर पालन और इनका ये कहना कि जो भी मानक तय की गए उसी के आधार पर ये ताजिया यहाँ पर निकाला जा रहा है।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
After the massive success of Operation Sindoor, which underlined India's dominance.
Asia's largest news headquarters. Setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Republic TV with me, Akanksha Khajuria. F-35 fighter jet remains stranded in the country in the last 3 weeks. But now the engineering team is in India. It will be repaired and will be taken back to the United Kingdom. We'll get you more details on this. But first up, as always, the headlines. 31-member British aviation engineering team arrives at the international airport in Kerala to examine the F-35 jet today. F-35B will be moved to the hangar. One dead, 4 injured after blast at a firecracker factory in Tamil Nadu. Central Bureau of Investigation has busted biggest medical college scam. Godman ex-UGC chief among 34 named. PM Modi arrives in Brazil for the BRICS summit. Diaspora engagement and key bilaterals on agenda. Shiromani Akali Dal leader Bikram Singh Majithia has been sent to 14 days judicial custody after completion of 11 days remand.
I join millions around the world in wishing His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama a most happy and joyful 98th birthday.
Prime Minister wishes Dalai Lama on his 90th birthday. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju attended the Dalai Lama's birthday event in Dharamshala. Well, starting the bulletin with the updates on F-35 fighter jet, a team of technical experts on board the British Royal Air Force Airbus A400M Atlas arrived at the international airport in Kerala to assess the British Royal Navy F-35B fighter jet that made an emergency landing at the airport on June 14th last month. The F-35B jet has been moved to the hangar as of now, and after remaining grounded for over 2 weeks due to technical faults, the aircraft will now be dismantled and transported back to the United Kingdom aboard a C-17 Globemaster transport aircraft. So what you can see on the screen is the F-35 fighter jet that remains stranded there in the last 3 weeks. In fact, it made an emergency landing on June 14th. And now what we're learning is that it has been moved to the hangar. There is a team of engineers from the United Kingdom that has arrived at the Trivandrum International Airport that will be conducting the inspection, the repair process as well. And then this will be taken to the United Kingdom. But it has been stranded from the last at least 3 weeks. In fact, today, British High Commission spokesperson mentioned that a UK engineering team has deployed to the international airport to assess and repair the UK F-35B aircraft, which landed following an emergency diversion. The UK remains grateful to the continued support and collaboration of the Indian authorities and the airport teams. Let me go across to my colleague Ashwini, who joins us live in the broadcast with more details. Ashwini, tell us about the engineering teams that are on the ground and also about the repair process that will be undertaken.
Akanksha, Ashwin this side. What I want to quickly move this to the frame right now. We are getting live visuals of the A400 right now moving from the airport where it was parked. You can see these visuals, our exclusive visuals that we are bringing in by visuals brought in by our video journalist Mani S. You can see that right now on the screen, you can see that there is this movement of the A400. So as earlier we had pointed out that the A400 is likely to move out at around 4 p.m. But now we see that this movement has slowly started. It is right now being moved. You can see a slight movement of the A400. Now the A400's movement is, we are trying to find out what is it, but it's very interesting update that we are bringing in on our screens right now. We are seeing the A400 slowly being towed away. In fact, it is slowly being towed away towards the hangar perhaps. So what is it? It is a very interesting development right now happening right before our eyes as we speak. You can see the A400 which landed at around 12:40 is now being towed away to the runway or to the hangar, needs to be seen. But these are exclusive visuals that we are bringing in.
Absolutely, what we can see on the screen, that is the F-35B fighter jet that made an emergency landing at the international airport 3 weeks back on June 14th. And now we can see, as my colleague Ashwin also pointed out, that it is now being moved towards the hangar. Remember earlier today, as we pointed out, the United Kingdom had mentioned that they remain very grateful to India for the continued support. So Ashwin, tell us about India's involvement in this, their assistance in the earlier repair work as well, and what assistance India has given as far as this fighter jet is concerned.
Well, this assistance, you can see right on our screens, the assistance that is being provided. The Adani airport, which is right now running this Thiruvananthapuram airport, you can see that it is using its resources to move the A400. Now, the A400, what we understand, has got all the equipments to repair the F-35. This flight, what you see on our screens right now, landed today at 12:40. Now, slowly that flight is also now being, you can see it is being moved. Where it is being moved needs to be seen. But this particular flight definitely has all the equipments. The Lockheed Martin engineers, 31 engineers had come on this flight today, and it needs to be seen whether this is going to be moved to any other bay right now, or whether it will be moved to the hangar itself. All that needs to be seen. But very interesting development, Akansha. Indian government, Indian authorities have been giving all kind of support, and this support has been rendered in the most best manner possible, and we have seen that this continued for the last 21 days. Also, this flight, the support that has been given, the UK government has also profusely thanked the Indian authorities and the airport authority in this regard as well.
Well, absolutely. There on the screen, we are showing you exclusive pictures of the F-35B stealth fighter jet, which, remember, was parked on the tarmac in Kerala's international airport from the last 3 weeks. Now, what we're learning is that it is being towed to the hangar area. British technicians, their engineers, are on the ground, and it remains to be seen how this fighter jet will be repaired. That repair work will be very important, Ashwin. It remains to be seen whether it can be repaired locally or whether it will be dismantled and taken to the United States. Take us through the details.
The live visuals, what we are getting right now is not the F-35, Akansha. It is the A400 that we are showing on our screens right now. In fact, this is the vehicle with a flight that has come down to repair it, to repair the F-35. The F-35 was already moved into the hangar. Now you can see a bus also slowly moving closer to it. Now we need to see what is happening over there. It certainly looks like the bus is moving towards the... we are just looking at it because these are live visuals that is happening. There is a movement. We are trying to find out whether any crew members will be taken in these buses, but there are quite a few buses which are going very close to it. We need to see that. But nonetheless, what we can definitely know is that there is a kind of you can see some people coming out. In fact, you can see some people coming out in this frame. You can see there are some crew members which are coming out from the aircraft. In fact, these are very important update from the A400, the cargo flight of the UK Air Force, the Royal UK Air Force. You can see that some crew members are coming out. There is some kind of a machinery which is likely being moved over there. We are trying to get you those. Yes, it is right. Some kind of machinery is being moved. There is some equipment which is right now being dragged. Whether that will be taken to the hangar is what needs to be seen. But certainly, very interesting development is happening right there. What we know is that there's a 31-member crew which has come down to repair it. And of the 31-member crew, we are understanding that there are also Lockheed Martin engineers also there. Now we can see from the flight, there are some people who are moving out. There are some people who are coming out, and there's also some bus which was parked on the other side. Maybe they will be boarding onto the. We do not know that. We cannot ascertain it, but we can see some goods being brought out of this particular flight. So these are very interesting visuals that we are bringing in.
Absolutely. My colleague Ashwin is there at the spot getting you these exclusive visuals of the aircraft that is right there. And there's some movement as well. As Ashwin, you also pointed out, there is 30-member crew that will be carrying out the repair work. That will be very important because the fighter jet in fact has been stranded from the last 3 weeks. So repair work, dismantling will be very important, Ashwin. All right, we'll continue to track that story very closely. There on the screen, you can see exclusive visuals from the Trivandrum International Airport and the ground report that my colleague Ashwin has been getting for us.
Bharat 1 Minute brought to you by Canara Bank. Together, we can.
On the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, Buddhist monk offered special prayers at the Tibetan monastery in Bodh Gaya in Bihar. Hollywood actor and practicing Buddhist also joined this birthday celebration in Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh. 4 people died after their car slipped off the road and fell down the mountain near, this Rohtang Pass area in Kullu district in Himachal Pradesh. There were a total of 5 people in one vehicle. 1 person has received injuries. Rescue operations are still on. Delhi Police Crime Branch has arrested a criminal, Ajay Lamba alias Bansi, a proclaimed offender who had been absconding from the last 25 years. This accused that you can see on the screen, a notorious robber-cum-murderer, was involved in 4 brutal robbery-cum-murder cases targeting the cab drivers across the national capital, UP and Uttarakhand since 2001. Now shifting our focus, the Central Bureau of Investigation has uncovered one of the biggest medical education scams in the country. The case spans multiple states and involves the top officials, middlemen, private colleges, representatives, prominent educationists and even a self-styled godman. The Central Bureau of Investigation has so far arrested 8 people in this case, including 3 NMC doctors, that is National Medical Commission doctor who took a bribe of 55 lakh rupees to issue a favorable inspection report to the institute in Naya Raipur is what we are learning. This is one of the biggest medical scam that has been unearthed by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Several people have been arrested in this case, including a self-styled godman, several middlemen, private colleges, representatives, prominent educationists, and the Central Bureau of Investigation has stated that the NMC doctors took 55 lakh bribe to issue a favorable inspection report to Rawatpura Institute of Medical Sciences, which is in Naya Raipur there.
₹55 लाख ब्राइब ली गई है, ऐसा आरोप लगाया है सीबीआई ने। और जब्ती जो की गई है वो करीब करीब 16 लाख कुछ की गई है और एक जन से 38 लाख की गई है। लेकिन जो जब्ती भी जो बताई जा रही है वो जिस व्यक्ति को व्यक्ति जिस नाम का बताया जा रहा है कि भ्रम है, वो उसके व्यक्तिगत जो संपत्ति और प्रॉपर्टी के पेपर्स के रिलेटेड जो उसने बेचा खरीदा, उसके जो पैसे थे वो उसके घर से जब्त किया गया है। 3 जो बेंच मतलब है दिल्ली की, उन्होंने एक शिकायत की है किसी मयूर रावल के नाम पर, जो उदयपुर की किसी संस्थान का डायरेक्टर है या वहाँ का रजिस्ट्रार है। और ये बताया गया है इस पूरे उसमें कि खाली सिर्फ रावतपुरा सरकार का नहीं है। आरोप ये लगाया गया है कि जो निरीक्षण समिति गुप्त रहती है, पूरी तरह से किसी को बताया या डिस्क्लोज नहीं किया जाता है, उस डिस्क्लोज किसी ने किया है। अब किसने किया है उसकी जांच की जा रही है। और ये बताया गया है कि जो रावतपुरा सरकार यूनिवर्सिटी में जो लोगों को जांच करना था मेडिकल कॉलेज में, रावतपुरा मेडिकल कॉलेज में, वो डॉक्टर्स की जो 4 लोगों की टीम थी, वो 4 लोगों ने रिश्वत ली है कि उनके जो मानक स्तर सही था या नहीं था, उनके फेवर में रिपोर्ट बनाने के लिए ये केस बनाया है, आरोप ये लगाया है सीबीआई ने। और सीबीआई आज 6 लोगों को पेश किए हैं यहाँ कोर्ट पे, जिसमें कुछ लोगों के संबंध में उनके पास कोई विशिष्ट जानकारियां उपलब्ध नहीं है। और हमने उसी का ऑब्जेक्शन लगाया है कि बिना 41 की नोटिस दिए, बिना किसी 35 की नोटिस दिए आपने कैसे गिरफ्तार किया। पहले आप जांच करें, आप सिर्फ संदेह के आधार पर आप गिरफ्तार नहीं कर सकते।
Now shifting our focus to the state of Karnataka, 10 Dalit professors at Bangalore University have submitted their resignation to the Vice Chancellor, alleging discrimination in the appointment of the post and deliberate bypassing of the reservation policies. In a formal letter, the professors cited persistent neglect of their concern despite repeated appeals, claiming that the university administration has manipulated the system to exclude eligible candidates from the marginalized community. A big claim that has come in from as many as 10 Dalit professors who have tendered their resignation to the Vice Chancellor. Now this will go to the Chief Minister is what we are learning from our reporters on the ground. They have claimed that there's been discrimination in the appointment of the post and the deliberate bypassing of the reservation policy. A big claim against the Bangalore University. Let me go across to my colleague Abhishek, who joins us from Karnataka. Abhishek, do tell us about this, because this is a very big claim that is coming from the Dalit professors. They have claimed that there's been discrimination against them as far as the Bangalore University is concerned. Give us more details.
Well, Akanksha, we have seen the letter and we've also shown the letter to our viewers, which very clearly states that these 10 professors who are disposing of their duties in various other departments of Bangalore University had also been provided with additional jobs which they have been carrying out from last couple of years, after which it was mentioned that they would be getting the ELs as per their designation and the disposal of their duties. However, after repeated requests and various other letters written to the Vice Chancellor has not yet given a heed to their request, is what the letter claims as of now. And also, they have threatened or informed the Vice Chancellor that they will be getting off or resigning from their additional post, because this is what the Gazette has mentioned. According to the Karnataka government, is what the 10 Dalit professors claim as of now. It is not because of the reason that they have been superseded or overtaken that these resignations are taking place, but due to the respect that they have been not provided by the VC or the Bangalore University is one of the major reasons as to why these 10 resignations are about to take place in a day or two. We are waiting for an update from the Vice Chancellor of Bangalore University, and also we will have to see how these 10 Dalit professors will take this any further, because the university's Chancellor will be the Governor of the state, and also the powers are vested. Some of the powers are vested with the Chief Minister of Karnataka. So we will have to see how this case proceeds, what will be the reaction of the Bangalore University's Vice Chancellor, and what will the next move of these 10 Dalit professors be as of now.
Absolutely,
Akanksha.
Abhishek, keep tracking those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. Now shifting our focus, the Dalai Lama celebrated his 90th birthday in the Himachal Pradesh Dharamshala today alongside thousands of Tibetan Buddhist and Union Minister, Hollywood celebrities as well. Take a look at this report for more details.
The world is celebrating the 90th birthday of Tibetan spiritual leader, the 14th Dalai Lama. And a celebration event was organized in Himachal Pradesh's Dharamshala. From top politicians to Hollywood celebrities in attendance, the celebratory event was witnessed by the entire world. Hollywood actor and practicing Buddhist Richard Gere also received blessings from the 14th Dalai Lama.
A joyous, joyous day to celebrate this extraordinary life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. but also the presence of all the extraordinary people here, the spiritual community, secular community, all these wonderful diplomats and representatives from around the world come here to pay their respects to one of the most extraordinary people who have ever walked on this planet.
Addressing the event, Union Minister of Minority Affairs Kiran Rijiju lauded the Tibetan spiritual leader and called him a living bridge between ancient wisdom and modern world.
Now, let's take you to the state of Kerala. As you can see on the screen, those are the exclusive footage that Republic has gotten for you. This is as far as the stranded F-35B is concerned. Remember, it is stranded at the Trivandrum International Airport since the last in fact, 3 weeks is what we are learning, but the engineering team is on the ground and the repair work will be undertaken shortly. In fact, these are the visuals of A400 engine which has started. We'll go to our colleague in just some time who will explain these visuals to us. But the process of repair, dismantling and other things are underway as far as this F-35 fighter jet is concerned. Let me go across to Ashwin, who joins us live with more details. Ashwin, explain these visuals to us. What is happening there on the ground?
Right now, the A400, which in fact landed in Thiruvananthapuram at around 12:40, is now seen to be returning back. What we understand, what we confirm from our sources, is some of the engineers who are going to repair the F-35 is going to stay here. So essentially, this plane was brought in to hand over the equipments and all the machineries required for the repair. That is what we understand. And once that is done, so F-35 was earlier towed away. We had broken those visuals also. It was towed away and it was taken to the Air India hangar. And after that has been done, once the engineers of the UK have safeguarded it, the flight which brought these equipments and these crew members are right now returning back. And these are the visuals that we are bringing in of this flight. It is likely to take off from here in some time. It is right now going to the other end of the runway, and soon we will be seeing this A400 taking off from the Thiruvananthapuram airport.
Absolutely, Ashwin. In fact, we can see there on the screen, these are the first and exclusive visuals that you can see on our channel. A400 is returning back. That arrived earlier today after bringing at least 31-member engineering team to carry out the repair works. Now the A400, the plane there is leaving from the international airport there in Kerala. This was carrying, in fact, the machinery and the equipment that were required to fix, repair, dismantled the F-35 fighter jet. Now, all eyes will be on the repairing work. Ashwin, tell us more about that.
You know, what we witnessed, in fact, was, we are sitting in a very discreet place. It's very difficult because there are security protocols and lot reasons, and we have been shooed away multiple times. So my video journalist Mani S and myself have been trying to, get these visuals for our viewers. But that's why what we wanted to say was before this flight took off, we did see some kind of an equipment movement and people movement to this flight as well. What we believe probably the weapon system which were attached to this flight was probably taken before the flight has gone into the repair. So that could be the thing. But certainly right now we are expecting the A400 to take off from the Thiruvananthapuram airport. It has now moved into the other end of the runway. In another 5 to 10 minutes we can expect this flight to take off from here.
Absolutely. Let me explain these visuals to people who have just joined in. There on the screen, you can say A400 that brought in the engineers. Today it is going back, but engineers will be in Kerala in India to fix, repair, dismantle and take back the F-35 fighter jet that remains stranded in Kerala since last 3 weeks. There on the screen, you can see A400, in fact, heading back to the United Kingdom is what we are learning, and my colleague has been reporting each and every detail of the story from the last 3 weeks. Ashwin, take us through the repair work that could be carried out now, and also the focus will be on how this will be taken back to the United Kingdom.
You can see the A400 taking off. You can see the A400. You can see the A400 taking off right now. You can see those visuals. It has already taken off from the Thiruvananthapuram airport. It is right now. You can see it has moved out. It has taken off. This flight, which was here hardly for 4 hours, has now moved away. Meanwhile, just right below over there where the Air India hangar is, I just want our video journalist Mani has to show where the F-35 has been taken inside. So that particular hangar, the Air India hangar which is there, it has been moved. Where the flight is just in that hangar where you can see the Air India, some of the flights are parked next to that. There is a closed hangar. So as soon as the F-35 was brought into that hangar, that gate was closed. Now we do not have any access, but certainly that is where the repair will happen. There are only two possibilities. One, the repair will happen, or as you pointed out, there could be dismantling. But that is there's a good chance that it will be repaired and the flight is going to take off from this very airport in the days to come.
Well, absolutely, Ashwin. Those are the visuals from the Trivandrum International Airport, a Royal Air Force Airbus A400M Atlas aircraft that landed with the engineers earlier today that has lifted off towards the United Kingdom. All the engineers are on the ground right now, and the repair work of the F-35 fighter jet will be carried out and will be taken back to the United Kingdom. Thank you so much, Ashwin, for all the details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. But now the focus will be on the repair work of the F-35B fighter jet that is in Trivandrum from the last 3 weeks. The repair work will be carried out. It remains to be seen whether there will be dismantling or not, and then it will be taken to the United Kingdom. Remember earlier today, the United Kingdom issued a statement thanking India for the support as far as this entire repair process is concerned. And with this, we're taking a very short break. Coming up on the other side, we'll tell you about how the Central Bureau of Investigation busted biggest medical college scam involving a godman, ex-UGC chief, 34 other named in this case. And on the other side in Punjab, SAD leader Vikram Singh Majithia has been sent to 14 days judicial custody after his 11 days of police remand. This and much more on the other side. Stay with us.
This week on Get Me Right, we put a searchlight on the plight of the Hindu community of Sindh in Pakistan. Their daily struggles just to be able to survive amid abductions, conversions and targeting of their women. Also, is China deliberately hitting India's food security by squeezing the supply of specialty fertilizers amid Kharif season? And if yes, do we have a way out? Is an experiment with genetically modified crops worth a shot to increase India's agricultural output? Join me this weekend only on Republic TV.
जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
After the massive success of Operation Sindoor, which underlined India's dominance in the skies, another story is quietly unfolding within the Indian Air Force. This one will multiply the Indian Air Force's punch and add more firepower to one of its most advanced fighter jets, the Sukhoi 30 MKI, and make it more lethal for our adversaries. The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI, the backbone of our Air Force, is getting a radical makeover. And it is not just an upgrade, it is a transformation. Yes, we are talking about the Super Sukhoi, the massive 70,000 crore rupee upgrade that will make Sukhoi 30 more dominant than it already is. Let's start with the why. The Su-30 MKI is already India's most numerous and battle-tested fighter. But the
Dr. Israni, we are honored to have you here today. Before I start with the chat, for people who don't know, I was just researching about you yesterday, and a very interesting thing that I found out was that he had been a medical professional, and now he is an infrastructure innovator. So a stark difference when it comes to career choices, of course. I want to know the journey on how did you and why did you decide from switching from a medical perspective to then a future innovator, keeping in mind that you're interested in real estate. What was the story behind that?
So Tanisha, I first of all thank Republic to have such a big platform and telling people what infrastructure is doing right now, which nobody talks about. So if we see, for a doctor also, an infrastructure eventually is building the nation. So my goal when I got into medicine was to help people. So we have not diverted from our original goal. We still run foundations, we are still taking care, and infrastructure, because if the country grows, overall health and economic living grows. So that's practically parallel together, yeah.
So why this sudden switch? Or when did you decide that you want to now become a infrastructure innovator?
So actually that's a good question, because I'll tell you why. So I was always working as a charitable guy. So eventually when you were working something charitably, you call people, after the fifth call, people don't take your call. So I realized I need to do something on my own where I can make my own money and make that impact. So this was, and the industry was booming. So I thought, let me give it a try, and it worked pretty well for us.
That's very nice. I mean, in fact, your philosophy that I read on the website goes beyond real estate. It's about building features and it's about creating a legacy that lasts a lifetime. So why don't you tell us more about the Israni Foundation and how does it help in?
So building futures together is not just a tagline, it's our DNA. Since, eventually for any company, it's legacies they live on. But if legacy is not impactful, it's not changing lives, there's no point of having that legacy. Absolutely. So for us, we make sure, because our projects are in really remote areas, we make sure we have a mobile clinics, we have a creche, because eventually a healthier workforce will benefit the company and obviously the nation.
Absolutely. So when you talk about smart cities, now this is a very common term that the youngsters use, the people who are looking forward to start a family in a metropolitan city they use the word smart city. But what according to you a smart city actually is, and how is it matching with your vision and the Israni Foundation's vision?
So see, smart city is not just having EV vehicles roaming around, you have solar power and connectivity. But exactly a purpose of a smart city is bridging the gap. Getting economic benefits to the city, and so that the youth which is there in like tier 2, tier 3, so if you see mostly smart cities are in that zone. So it gets them job, it gets them placement, and it improves the life. So that's the basic purpose. Smart does not necessarily means having everything technologically driven.
So is it more about tech, or is it more about the experience that people have when they actually live in the city?
So they actually mix of both. Now technology is everywhere. We can't live without our phones. We can't live without internet. So it improves the quality of life, because when you have a smart city, you know your water management system is taken care of, your roadways are clean, your traffic, everything is managed. So, it improves the quality of life. So it's a mix of both.
Absolutely. So how do you think, but technology does play a huge role when it comes to real estate. And what according to you has technology given into the real estate sector, especially when we talk about the Israni Foundation? Because like you said, it's amalgamation, it's a mix of both that results in a good real estate venture. What according to you is the role of the tech when it comes to the Israni Foundation? As you said, it's an amalgamation of both.
So more than foundation when it comes to business, see, everything is right now AI, augmented AI technology. So eventually, see, India is growing at an urban rapid space of growth. So what technology does, it reduces your timelines, which is really critical. It improves the quality of the project you're delivering. So that makes a lot of difference. So now see, everyone has been talking about AI is this, AI that. AI has basically been there for ages. So AI is now divided into two things. One is machine learning and one is generative AI. So that's the main AI, which it actually you can create as a company. What we are also doing, we are creating our own LLMs. So eventually it will take time, but it will definitely benefit the future projects and everything. It will reduce timelines, it will make our projects greener, and we'll be able to deliver faster. And of course, the company will make money out of it.
Yeah, that's the agenda mainly. But when we talk about cities and turning them into smart cities, how do you think we can not just focus on data driving, but more on how it is to be people centric? Because the experience is what it counts. At the end of the day, when people go to that sector, they want to experience luxury, but also at an affordable price. They want to experience a legacy. How do you think we can manage that?
So see, technology is eventually making life easier. Once you have an easy life, today if the traffic is well managed, I know I can reach home 20 minutes rather than 30 minutes. That extra 10 minutes would change my life. I'll rather spend it with my family, or it will be me time. That would change. And with technology coming, cities getting smarter, builders and developers, they get more chance to develop those cities. And once new cities develop, new infrastructure is eventually beneficial for the person who's been staying there.
So it's said that the infrastructure is usually seen as the urban story of India. But what according to you, and how according to you can the infrastructure, especially when we talk about the real estate sector, can truly empower Bharat? Because what we're talking about here is nation first always. How do you think the infrastructure and the real estate sector is contributing to that?
So as we all know, infrastructure sector is the largest contributor of GDP. Yeah. We are also one of the largest employers. So once we are developing, right, I thank the PM, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, his vision that we've been able to develop so much and at so rapid space. And thanks to him, one thing I would tell everyone when I meet all these youngsters, seeing our Prime Minister ji work 24/7, 365 days a year, it has made us more weekend working than weekend loving generation. That has impacted a lot.
So do you like working on the weekends then?
I do. My kids and my wife have a problem with it, but yeah, Sundays I make sure I keep it for them.
That's amazing. When we talk about Viksit Bharat, how do you think the real estate sector is actually contributing to a Viksit Bharat? Because ultimately the goal is going to be that in the longer run.
See, Viksit Bharat basically means we need to be a developed nation. And that would happen once we have good infrastructure, we have more companies and more big companies coming in India and investing in India, which leads to job creation. And once a developed nation is there, people have good jobs, good salaries. So it obviously develops the nation. It is very important and it will happen. They say it's Vision 2047, but the way government is working, I think so we'll achieve it by 2040.
Absolutely. That's a huge statement that you have made there. Also, you have worked on campuses. You have worked on CRPF campuses. There are IITs, and again, there are different holistic things that you have worked upon. So what did you learn from this as far as the inclusive development is concerned? Because, and these are amazing campuses, the CRPF campus, be the IIT in Ahmedabad as well. What is it that you encountered? Number one, the challenges, of course, and number two, the inclusive development that you can talk about.
So any challenge actually makes you grow. So a challenge for any entrepreneur is good. But working, the environment with these campuses is so positive, it's so green, that you don't feel it as like a challenge. But there's a lot of learning. See, when you're doing any project with IIT, there's so many engineers and they're really smartest of the lot of the country. Once you sit there with them and discuss, you actually know about what's future technology, and you can implement it, which they actually allow. Whether you would be doing it with the other players, they might be a bit hesitant, but not them.
So, when the thought process that goes behind building the CRPF campuses, building the IITs, I'm sure it's a proud moment, of course, other than being an entrepreneur, because you're building futures, you're building lives. What is that one thought that goes behind your mind when you're actually working yourself on those projects?
So when I see that these are buildings which are going to last lifetime, and they are the master structures. So when you build an IIT campus, it's not just you're building a campus, so many people are going to come there. And one of the brightest minds of the nation, they are doing a lot for the nation. They're making their own startups, which are quite successful. So it gives a proud moment. And when it comes to CRPF campuses or any defense services campus, it gives us immense pride, because eventually they are the people who are standing on the borders inside the cities which are protecting us. For them, I don't think so. We say we are happy working. There was a debate, 45 hours, 75 hours, 70 hours working. And these people, they are willing to work even 100 hours without any problem or sweat. So it gives an immense pleasure when I'm doing something for the government sector, especially for the defense sector.
Absolutely. So that's really nice to know about it. And when you talk about sustainability, it is no longer an option now. It's the need of the hour, we say. I want to know the kind of projects that you have worked upon in which sustainability along with technology have played together a huge role.
See, now, good thing about government now, everything you need to be GREA rating. So it has to be green buildings. They're really focused, like for us, whenever we start a project, we make sure that our labor camps, our site infrastructure is solar driven. Sustainability, we start day one. Second is, soil invest, most of the people like topsoil we save. These are the basic practices now which have been implemented by the government. So sustainability, eventually it's green, it has to be there. Like for us, what especially we are developing an X-ray fluorescence technology. So when we dispose the debris, it is connected with an AI imagery server, which help us to know which is actually recyclable, which is not, so that the waste doesn't get just disposed of.
And how long do you think it's going to take?
It's a long journey. It's a long journey. It might take 2-3 years, because creating an LLM, it takes time. We want to make it as fast as we can. We want to sell the product, capitalize on it, and of course, green. It's go green right now.
So was this idea of go green always there in your mind since the initiation of the project, or did it recently develop keeping in mind the need of the hour that is going to be?
So being in Delhi, I think so the biggest challenge we guys face is pollution. Absolutely. So we always think about green, and the moment we stepped into the construction for me, our company, it has to be sustainable. Eventually, okay, when you try to build in sustainability, your profits might go down. But long run, it is a practice. You can't give away for it. Because when you build, we talk about building the nation. But most important, along with building the nation comes with building generations. If we don't take care of our future generation now, it is never.
Absolutely. So, like you said, Viksit Bharat, we were calculating it to be 2047, but according to your vision, it's going to be nearly about 2040?
Not my vision. The way government is working, I'm sure it's going to be 2040.
Absolutely. And I think that'll be a good thing, in fact, 2040. So what do you think are the cities that are going to come up and the cities that are needed for a Viksit Bharat?
So now see, with government models coming up, there are small cities they're tying up. They're building transport hubs. They're actually building cities around transport. They're building cities around data. So even small cities, like most of the people, I don't know if they know, there are villages in UP like Pipli Gaon, where government, I thank the government, Yogi Adityanath ji, Modi ji, for making schools for the people of laborers. Their schools, so they're promoting education. And eventually when these people come in, the cities become smarter, they'll eventually have a place to work and they don't need to migrate to bigger cities.
All right, so when we talk about your future projects, Dr. Israni, I want to know what is your vision when you talk about the future. We of course know the kind of projects that are currently underway. When we talk about the future vision of your group, what are the real estate sectors, what are the buildings, what is the infrastructure that you are looking forward to?
So for future, we want to make us cities which are resilient. Because basically, whenever you're doing a project, any city, there are climatic problems we have. There are some cities, there's too much pollution, there's drought, there's flood. So if we can make the cities which can actually take care of those problems, looking at topographical surveys and all, it will be a game changer.
If If you can also talk to us about some of your projects that are upcoming and that we certainly will have to look forward to.
So right now we are doing the new IIT campus in Ahmedabad. We are doing Atal schools in UP. These are the current projects, and future it's really bright. If you want today the time is you can actually practically bid for a new project every day, provided you have the capacity. The government is going on such a fast pace.
Absolutely. What role do you think should the private players play as far as it is meant to keep India future ready? It's meant to keep India resilient. What do you think are the role of the private players here?
So private play an important role. You know, government and private, they're actually partners. The private players can't entirely depend on the government in the same way. You know, the government has now a lot of PPP models where they actually encourage people coming in private partnership, because for a private firm, you know, developing, having their own R&D is much easier because there's a little less red tapeism. You can eventually invest in it and later sell it. For government, it becomes difficult because it has to, you know, put it on the portals, the technology they have to share. They can't keep it to themselves.
Dr. Israni, what I want to know from you is one project that's very close to your heart that you've worked on and that you will always talk about, be it in sessions like these or maybe in sessions in future.
So honestly, all my projects are very close to my heart. Reason they're like your babies. Now you can't choose which child is better. You might, you know, there might be days you might like one child more. So it's me, when I visit a particular city, I like that project more. I'm being biased to that city, but otherwise they're like my babies. I love them all.
Any future projects that are upcoming in Delhi NCR that people here listening to us and our viewers must know about? Because I am really excited to know about them.
So we are nothing as of now which we can disclose, but soon we'll share the news that we are coming with a very big green building project in Delhi NCR.
All right. Dr. Israni, thank you very much on that note. It was a wonderful and very insightful session. I loved it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for letting the people know that now construction industry and real estate has actually moved from PNP software, paper and pen software to new technologies. I really thank Republic.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Israni. Thank you for being with us.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार